We're going live. The light is green, and the internet might be able to hear us sometime in the near future.
Okay.
Yeah, you are like some kind of Go bot, but I am a much slower thing that has to transform from one state to another. I don't know if there's like a name for this sort of situation.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this...
It's not connecting. Why are we not getting... There it goes. There it goes.
Yeah, are we live?
We are, I think, pretty live at the moment here. I'm gonna paste this YouTube link into both the Discord call and also the also the skeet that I'm gonna add waffle words to so that people understand that I might not have done this right. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Does this?
Well, someone...
Can you see the stream?
I can see the stream. Yeah. I have it on mute. Someone has waved, so
Yes.
I think people are seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think we are live.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're just gonna Hi everybody. Hello people, and also people watching this in the future who have been watching it for 20 seconds or something now and don't know what it is we're doing yet. Hi, I'm SB.
And I'm Amabel. Hello, viewers.
And we like to oh yeah, you got to do the hello viewers for the first time. Enjoy that power. We like to talk about games on the internet. That's what we do here at this YouTube channel, and we are basically just like putting technology through its paces here. There might be live streams, maybe, but I want to make sure all this shit works first. So we're just gonna have a little conversation and play a couple of video games today for a little while. So I think I can crossfade this thing into being the live feed. We're gonna start today by just playing a little bit of Next Station Paris, which is a draw and write board game that I like very much, where we are designing an underground metro system for the city of Paris. So the basic gameplay here is there are 4 different colored metro lines that we will have to draw: the purple, the green, the blue, and the orange, although not in that order apparently. And for each line, cards will be drawn from a deck. You can see the available cards here on the left side. The deck is randomized for each line. There are cards for each of the symbols, each of the station symbols, and there's a blue card and a white card for each of them. And when a card is drawn, you must draw from one part of your line. At the beginning here, we just have a single station per color, to a station that has that symbol on it. The line ends when all of the blue cards have been drawn, so there's some variance there. You know, some white cards may get drawn, some may not. And we are just trying to score points on a whole bunch of different scoring objectives. So for each line, the first thing we get points for is each line will score a number of points equal to the number of different regions, the number of these different yellow boxes that it connects to, times the number of stations in the region where it connects to the most stations. So you want to have one really densely connected area, and then you also want it to spider out to all the different parts of the city. In addition, each line scores 2 points for each of these national monument sites that it connects to, because Paris is full of fancy tourist stuff. People love to go see the sites. Lines will score extra points for using these. Generally speaking, lines cannot cross each other, but if you use these special overhead connectors where there's like explicit lanes for the things to go over each other, you get extra points for doing that as well. You also get extra points for connecting multiple lines to the same site. And finally, we will get extra points for these scoring objectives down here. We have to use both sides of at least 2 different overhead crossings and have at least 3 stations that connect, the 3 lines are connected to. And for each of those, we'll get an additional 10 points. This is a like daily trial thing with a high score list. You can see the current high score is 246, which is considerably higher than I have ever scored in my entire life. It's a hard game. It could be a difficult game. So anyway, our first card up is a triangle. So we got to draw from our starting station to a triangle. I'm going to connect up here in the direction of these wild stations. So you can connect to a monument.
Copy me. For once, you didn't copy me.
Oh, you made a different. Yeah, you can see Amabel's board over here, pretty small. Unfortunately, I can't have them both real size at the same time. But yeah, we're playing the same challenge here, getting the same cards. I didn't want to cut off access to that overhead. That's why I didn't draw that line. So you can connect to the monument stations with any symbol. They are wild. Also, this big symbol in the middle here is in its own district, and it can be connected to with any symbol. That's where I'm going right away. And in addition to cards for just the individual symbols, you can see here there are wild cards. The wild cards let you connect to any station, or let you connect to a monument and then to any station. So if you have a monument adjacent to the end of your line, when a wild is drawn, it does give you some extra reach, and I'm going to be trying to maintain that for the moment. Let's run through here, try to set up that overhead. Oh, and then we draw Pentagon again right away, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Not what I wanted to draw.
That's fine. We'll head up. That's fine. Okay, so this is the wild. Draw to anything or draw to a monument and then to anything. Held onto this for exactly that reason. We're going to connect to a monument, and then from there to an anything. And this is the district that I am like loading up here. And then we drew the next one, the other wild, right afterward. That's a little awkward. So the last thing I haven't explained here is this this bit on the left. Each of the corner districts does something special when you connect to it. So if we connect to this circle in the upper right corner, we will immediately get to draw 2 lines to any station of our choice. Stuff like that. The top left district will count as 2 districts for scoring. The bottom left district will let one of our stations count double for scoring. And so there is significant benefit to sort of spidering your stuff all the way out to the edges, but also that's, a real pain in the ass. So I think I'm just going to take this wild to connect through one of my overheads. We got to get a couple of these overheads going. And I am seeing people in the chat. Oh, I'm seeing, hey, Derek and Pi and stuff. Hello, viewers. Square. Okay, square is another overhead. I've got a lot of overheads set up. Can I tell you what I'm really nervous about with this set of goals?
Yeah.
I feel like I never do a good enough job setting up for the triple connections.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've drawn the interchange card here. The interchange is a modifier. This allows us to draw from any section, from any station on our line instead of just the endpoints for this station. So I'm going to draw to a circle from... What is even a useful circle? I guess I could grab this circle. What's left in the deck? This is the last white card, actually. So we know we're going to draw a circle and triangle.
Okay.
After this, though we don't know what order. I'm going to do this one. We're going to hope to draw the circle first. We did not draw the circle first. Okay, well then I am going to connect us out to... So I was hoping to connect that down to the corner. And then this corner power lets you do another railway switch and draw to anywhere. And we can still get there, but I have to do it from here now. Okay, so I get to draw a line from any one of our stations to any station, and I should definitely use this to help set up here. I'm gonna draw it here. So this will connect us to a district we don't have any connections in and give us another overhead. It's worth a couple of points by itself, but also it has setup value. And then with the circle, it's just like connect to a monument, right? That's 2 points. Oh, it's connect to a monument down here to add another district and also another overhead crossing.
Okay, we got the blue one now. Okay.
So yeah, you can see 46 points of line scoring there. I made it to 7 districts, and my most filled district has six stations in it. We hit a couple of monuments, which is nice. Got those overhead crossings. Okay, so now we're playing blue, and we've drawn the railway switch card immediately, making it useless. That's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
What's square? Square's the double district.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're just going to draw toward the center on this one. Thank you, Brian, for the Brian Schlosser has left a lovely comment. Forgive, I'm running this stream like a person who has never heard of the internet before. Live streaming is not what I do generally, but I'm, like I said, we have some ideas. We're hoping to maybe make some.
That is sweet.
Make some new kinds of content here. So unfortunately, we drew a wild card before I was set up for it. I think I'm going to just draw. I mean, I got to get. Okay, here we're going to connect to the middle because that's all right. We have 2 lines connected to this one station, and I need to get into the area where the other lines are at some point. Let's just go ahead and connect to this monument. I could have left that open, I suppose, for the wild, because if I drew a wild right now, I would be annoyed. Yeah, Bjorn, that is actually exactly why I wanted to do it. This is a little earlier than I would ordinarily be up and doing stuff, but I wanted to hit it while the Europeans in the audience would still be able to catch it. Because I do have quite a sizable European audience. I guess we'll connect over to here so that if we draw a wild, I do have something to connect to. Pentagon's an awkward draw at this moment, huh?
It is a bit, yeah.
So you can see Amabel's developing in a completely different way. I like that you got one of your double crosses off of that first line.
I tend to focus on those goals probably too much because you can see I'm 21 points behind her right now, everyone. So
yeah, but I don't have a lot of long-term setup.
It's only get larger over time.
So like this is a concerning thing, right? Like I could drop down to this pentagon, and then it's like, look at all the different places we can connect to. We can all the other places where I can form a connection with the purple line. But there are a lot of places where, drawing a line cuts off the ability to draw another line in the future, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to actually get a third connection into this area. Like if I overpopulate it, it's going to be really hard to get the green line down here. All right, I think I'm going to do this, and I'm going to hope that we draw a circle soon. Oh, Pentagon again. Sure.
Yeah, that's good for me.
That's exactly what I was looking for. Yeah, actually, it's not horrible, huh? I might want to leave this right here, because if we draw... Oh, well, we're not guaranteed to draw another wild. We drew the blue wild. Okay, maybe it's best I just go ahead and grab this. And then that way, when we draw a circle, we will draw at least one circle. The blue circle's still live. I can cross this, get us a second connection to another site, and get that cross off. So I need to... Right now, my most populated district is a place where I have 3 station connections. And we're running really low on cards, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to connect to this monument. Classic. And of course, we have now played both of the wilds and both of the pentagons, so I couldn't run this blue line through here and then up through the overhead cross. That's fine. So circle triangle is what remains. I think I'm gonna run us down here. Let's use another one of these crossings. We take the circle with this end of the line, Gets us one double up and another site with multiple lines attached to it. And then, like, there's part of me that definitely wants to just run this across and hit the monument, but then I'm completely blocking the green line off from the north. And I think that's probably, well, I guess I've kind of already done that, haven't I? Yeah, you know what? Actually, it's fine. It's fine. I love monuments. Monuments is points.
Okay, let's see what I can.
And one of the classic things about board games, I don't know if you've ever heard of this concept before, Amabel, so I know that you are less familiar, obviously, with board games.
Yeah.
Is that more points is more good, generally. I'm going to pass on that. I do not want to draw to a square right now. That's a really awkward first draw for me. You know what I'd love to see is Pentagon. Actually, Pentagon would be fantastic. Circle works. Circle will get us to the middle. There it is. Okay. And that was the white circle we drew before, so we still have a guaranteed circle draw left. We're going to get some work done with that. Amabel, I might actually hit the triple for like the first time ever. Okay. Conservatively ever. All right, so there's one. 3 lines connecting to the center. I did it. When we draw that circle, I'm going to get a second one. We can figure this out. It is a little bit of a bummer that we drew triangle there, because like what I want is to leave this through a triangle. So obviously, like, I don't love the pass button. Drawing fewer lines is a really good way to score fewer points.
Mm-hmm.
But since you generally can only connect from the end of your lines, I kind of want this to remain, like, I don't want to be in a place where I just don't draw lines until we draw particular symbols. And a huge part of, like, this game is like all roll and writes, or draw and writes, whatever you want. They're all sort of the same genre. There's a tremendous amount of variance, right? It's a lot of randomness in the scoring, but a huge part of the strategy of the game is making plays while keeping yourself open for as many of the random outcomes as possible to be good, right? And it is a significant skill. You see the same players at the top of the score list all the time. So I've not done a good job is the point I'm making. I made it so that it would be real awkward if if square got drawn.
Is that what you call it, draw and write? Because you draw a card?
Yeah.
I'm used to hearing it called flip and write, so that's interesting.
Oh, flip and write. Okay. Yeah. That's probably a thing normal people say. Why did we draw the Pentagon?
Because I need it.
All right.
Like, I'm catching up now.
Okay.
I'm within 10 points of you.
Okay, I'm gonna stop complaining. It's going well for you. I'm gonna draw that one. Circle is fantastic. Circle is exactly what we've been waiting for. Circle is what gets the people moving. Everyone in the crowd is going nuts right now, I think, because of the circle that was drawn. Hey, Amabel, there's a question in the chat about who is SP talking to. Or there may be some people who are not as familiar. So could you introduce yourself?
I'm her girlfriend.
Yeah. Okay. Partner.
Yeah, and I'm a board game designer.
Yeah. Usually you don't lead with your name when you introduce yourself. Is that a new concept?
It's there in the title. Okay, no, I'm Amabel.
Amabel Holland, board game designer and publisher of some great renown.
I don't know about great renown, but
I do, so that's why I say it.
Okay, well, thank you, sweetheart.
By the way, that wild card was like fantastic, and theoretically we could draw the white wild card now, and I could do it again. I could do another double connect. It would be amazing. Really hoping that we don't draw triangle. Hell yes. Okay, gorgeous. We're just gonna go ahead and go. I shouldn't hit this, right? No, I should go up here.
Yeah, but that's my deal, essentially.
And then I actually can't draw to a triangle from here. Maybe that's a thing I should have thought of. But I really wanted to hit the double district. I think that was good for me. I think that was a lot of points.
Okay, let's see if I can pull off the stuff I have awkwardly set up for myself.
I believe in you. I think you can do it. So I got my 2 crossovers. I need one more point to triple connect to. And I've got like a pretty solid option over here. It'll be really easy to draw that. Do I want to do this? I guess so. I think that's fine. So yeah, we draw from here to the triangle. If we pull Pentagon in the near future, we can just hit that. If we draw a wild first or something, we can go to the monument instead. I think that's all good. Let's go ahead and... So the downside of this, here's a thing that's worth considering. A good reason maybe not to do the thing I was about to do. If I draw circle and then we do the monument thing, this end of the line is going to be behind this end of the line. I'm going to be all caught up in this corner and maybe trapped forever. Whereas I could just draw to here, pick up another double. I guess I could draw up from this side up to the circle. It's like this monument connection is worth like 12 points. It's definitely a thing I should do. The only thing I should set up for. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just do it naively the way I was intending to do it. Okay, white wild. So the blue wild's still in the deck. I think what I do is I just leave this for like the end, and we instead go on a little adventure with this one. Am I gonna feel silly for not having done the crossover? Maybe. Gosh, maybe the crossover's right. But then I don't get to draw 2 lines, Amabel.
What?
Why would I not draw 2 lines when I could just draw 2 lines? Who would do such a thing?
You would?
Yeah, it's me. I'm going to draw 2 lines. I'm going to draw 2 lines because I'm not falling for your trickery.
Oh, I have to pass. Oh, no. I have a weird question for you. Because
Yes.
you know more about video games than I do generally. Are there any video games that are kind of like rolling rights, flipping rights, or is that really just an analog game?
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so first of all, this is not what you are asking. Wow, even with the railway switch card, I can't draw a triangle anywhere? No, I've locked this line in the corner so badly. All right, well, yeah, no, I don't really think so. Aside from, this is not what you were asking, but there are, of course, digital video game implementations of roll and write games, right? There's a pretty good Railroad Inc. implementation, and stuff like that, which I know is not what you mean.
But I mean it still is a thing, you know.
So we're gonna get this, and then we're gonna get a square, and possibly another square. This line is gonna be worth garbage points for me. I should have thought. Oh, why didn't I do any thinking? Why have I never in my life had a thought? Okay, well, there's the final card of the game. Squares. The green line ended up being absolutely miserable. Look at that. Am I ending with an 18-point line? Amabel, I didn't even make it to 200 points. Neither did you. What's wrong with us? Look at these people. Look at the scoreboard here.
I've never made it to 200 points. So.
Yeah, this is so yeah, they keep track of your okay, the BoardGameArena has achievements. I don't know that websites need achievements. In my opinion.
No.
In my opinion, achievements are probably not necessary. There's a lot of people who scored a lot better than we did. So this game, Next Station Paris, is the third in the Next Station series on BGA. I actually don't know if there are more than that in the real world, in physical meat space. The internet's the real world, obviously. But I feel like I was a lot better at the other two. This one, I think, this one has some complicating factors, partially in, I think, the way the map is designed. The routes cross over each other a lot more. There were a lot more places in Next Station Tokyo where you can draw a line such that it's not cutting off any other routes, any future routes that you might want to draw. This one is kind of all over itself a lot more, and so you have to make a lot more sort of like long-term cutting decisions. I do think I screwed up this play at the bottom here. I should have crossed with the wild, just accepted that I was only going to draw one line, then gone back to the monument and moved forward from there. That definitely would have been worth some extra points. But yeah, that's that game. We were just doing that to sort of get set up and get some time for people to get in here. If people got in here, to be perfectly honest with you, I did not know for sure if we were going to have any viewers at all for this. So hey everybody, what's going on?
Hey everybody.
Hey Jaina. Hey Stephanie. Hello folks.
Hello everybody. Yeah. Yeah, someone was asking about what series I'm on, and yeah, I'm just my name's in the series when I show up on her channel, so
yeah,
pretty easy to find and or avoid if you want to.
Yeah, and that is why I do it that way, so that people will know where they can find you, to enjoy your contributions, which have been many. I've really enjoyed making stuff with you these last however long it is that we've been doing it.
Yeah, it's really been lovely for me as well, because it's like I've talked about this before in my own YouTube things. A big influence on like the direction of my work now is just you showing me stuff and talking to me about stuff, and like there's a lot of stuff I'm doing right now. Some of the best work in board games I've done in my life. And a lot of that comes from just discussing games with you and you showing me stuff. So, I'm glad to be on your channel with you, and you can show me a thing and make me play a thing. And speaking of which, this is an expert segue on my part. You know, this is why you have me on.
Yeah.
Can you show me some games? Can you show me... We've been talking a lot about roguelite games.
Mm-hmm.
Can you show me some roguelites that I haven't seen before?
I might be able to. That's the thing we might be able to do. Let me maybe jump over to my favorite one, which I will try to add to OBS as unobtrusively as possible here.
Okay.
While that's happening... yeah, Jaina, unfortunately, the Amabel's audio quality is the problem is the microphone that we have her recording on, which is my busted old stream mic from before I bought a real grown-up streaming mic. So there's nothing we can really do about that, unfortunately. I can turn her up a little bit. I can do that, but
yeah,
and I will, and I have now done that.
Am I louder now?
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's not going to improve the audio quality at all. Nick DeCapua has a question. Amabel, do you have a favorite game series of the series that we have done for the channel so far that you can answer while I am making this roguelite work?
Gosh, that's a really difficult question to answer, because on one hand, like, I want to pick the series where you suffered the most and I got to laugh about it, and that'd be Thief. But on the other hand, I really enjoyed doing Roundabout with you recently. That's definitely a favorite. Quake School, because I had never seen the Doom or the Quake games before, and since then, update for people who saw that series, I've kind of fallen head over heels with the original Doom, which is something that I never would have experienced. And then the first one we did, Pentiment. really special. I never encountered a game like that before, and it was the first time he asked me to do anything like that. I think largely because I have some background in like the historical period from some previous game stuff I had done, and you thought, well, maybe I could be of help there, and it was a really fun time together.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with my favorite roguelite. I'm trying to dial in the audio mix live is fucking terrifying. Let me tell you something. So maybe my least favorite part of this whole streaming thing, let me tell you, is dealing with the audio mix and every program in the universe wanting to be a different volume no matter what is going on. Really, really drives me crazy. And I wish that there was a simple solution for this, or it'd just be like, hey, put the game in the mix about this loud. I want everything to always be this loud. What I'm gonna do is just send this feed to you directly over Discord, Amabel.
Yes, that's perfect.
So that's how
I do see people mentioning Hades, and I have played the original Hades before. Like I put a lot of hours to that actually. So like, my familiarity with roguelikes is I played Hades, I played Slay the Spire, and I played the poker one. Balatro?
Balatro, I do believe it is. It's a real word in an actual language, right?
Maybe.
It's Italian or something. This is showing my my incredible knowledge of languages of the world. I am a product of the American public school system, and I apologize for that. So this game is called Enter the Gungeon.
Okay.
Yeah. I see some commentary about Hecate and Nemesis in the chat there that I super agree with. Hades 1 was a real sort of like feast for people who enjoy depictions of people in video games, just human bodies, and Hades 2 I think has topped it, especially if you happen to be a lesbian. Very, very lesbians forward kind of vibe in that game. Let's just take on the Marine here. We'll do the Marine. Wait a minute. No, we'll do the Marine. That's fine. Or the Noble Gun Knight. So this here is Enter the Gungeon. Is there stuff I haven't bought? What on earth?
You've told me a little bit about this game. I know that there's a gun that can shoot the past.
Yeah, this is the plot hook here is that everybody who is in the Gungeon is here because they've come here seeking a great relic, the gun that can kill the past. Everybody in the game is a fuck up. They've ruined their life in some way, and they think if there was just that one moment where I could go back and erase the thing I did, and so they seek the gun that can kill the past to allow them to do that. Now this is a very completed game save file, so like spoilers, I guess, for a game that came out so long ago that I don't even want to look up when it came out, because that will give me the feeling in my bones of time, and I hate that.
I'll look it up for you.
The basic idea, though, of the roguelite, the sort of combat roguelite in the manner pioneered by young Isaac, is, you go through a procedurally generated map, and when I say procedurally generated, I mean it is a connection of purpose human-built spaces. The rooms are hand-designed, although they may have semi-random enemy groupings in them. I'm going to turn the audio down. I think it's a little hot in my headphones, and I know that's probably okay for the stream, but I am turning it down because I need it to be quieter.
There seems to be a common trend with the roguelike games compared to, because I have familiarity with like roguelikes, where some stuff is purpose-built, but it's mostly procedurally generated rooms and map layouts. And like the ones I played, like the rooms are like they're arranged in connected in different ways. They might have different enemies in them, but they are, these purpose-built little pieces And do you think that's something that is like more necessary for the action kind of focus of the game to make sure that it is like coherent, satisfying action gameplay?
Well, I mean, like, the difficulty with procedural generation of like the actual small scale stuff is that it literally is impossible. The AI, and you can't do that and necessarily guarantee that you'll be able to generate rooms that can be played. Like, literally, what the hell is my dodge roll bound to? I'm trying to dodge here, and what is dodge rolls on right click? Okay, I forgot how to play the game. I keep pressing space to dodge roll because that's how you would do it in most games. But here it's so important that they bound it to a mouse button, so you can roll, and you're invincible for part of the roll, for the part where you're in the air, I believe. And also you can like roll over these tables and do a like a Dukes of Hazzard slide, or you can kick a table over and use it as cover because action movie stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And so the let me finish dispensing premise here now that I have the game working, because I do love, one of the reasons that this is my favorite roguelite is because of the premise. And I know Hades is very good. People were talking about Hades in part, I think, because I said favorite roguelite. I'm not gonna touch this yet. We're gonna come back. Hades is real good, but part of the reason I like this one so much is because of the silliness of the concept and the story. That stuff goes a long way with me. You know, the gameplay is critically important to a game, but it's not the only thing that's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, the power of the artifact, of the gun that can kill the past, has formed the Gungeon around it, which is a gun-themed dungeon, and you can see the enemies are mostly bullets or things that are made out of shells, and yeah, everything inside of the place is some kind of gun-based wordplay. Damn it, the water barrel in the corner broke. All right. I don't remember everything about the game. Oh, okay, cool, water barrel. So we can kick this barrel over. There we go. It's gonna be a little bit of a pain in the ass. Got it first try.
So someone in the chat is asking, do you enjoy horror games? If so, what is your favorite? That's a question for both of us, but I'll let you handle it first.
So
while you're kicking this barrel.
I love horror media. I have used the barrel to extinguish the fireplace. You can do this with anything that shoots water. Several of the guns have like wet projectiles, or they shoot like fish or whatever. If you put out the fire in the fireplace, go back in there, there's a switch. It opens up something. I'm gonna level with you. I don't remember what that does, but I do remember that you can do it. But yeah, so like, just the goofy sense of humor and all the gun stuff, the silly weapons and their silly descriptions. Like, the tone of this one is a lot of what gets it across the line for me.
Do you think that's a reason why your favorite fighting game is Tekken?
I think that has something to do with it for sure. The thing, like, before I knew anything about what good mechanics were, I was drawn to Tekken because of the Jaguar Man and the volcano thing. It's like, what do you mean they're always throwing each other into volcanoes? I pressed dodge. Hades has poisoned my brain. I pressed space to dodge there, which is not how the video game works. So I have this crappy little gun right now. You start every run with a pistol. The pistol has infinite ammo. Ow. There are better guns, I swear. We're gonna find one. We're gonna find one somewhere around here.
You were talking about horror media, though.
Yeah. This is part of the reason that you need to be here, is because I need somebody to keep me on task. Part of my deal with horror media is I love horror media very much, but I so much hate to be startled. And I think part of it is that I am a very easy startle. So I don't like jump scares, and that rules out a lot of horror games for me, straight up. And anybody who's watched the channel for any amount of time has seen me be jump scared by a totally innocuous thing in a non-horror video game. Happens all the time. I kind of want to go fight the first boss before opening these chests. I think that may be what happens here. So that rules out a bunch of...
Why is that?
That rules out a bunch of horror media. Well, the thing is, if you have not collected a gun on the current floor, this might not even be the case anymore. It certainly used to be. If you have not collected a gun on the current floor, then there's a 50% chance that the boss will drop a gun.
Okay.
And if you have collected a gun on the current floor, then you're more likely to get a... I will buy a key. I love keys. You're more likely to get an item from the boss. And a lot of the items in the game are kind of low impact, in my opinion.
Does the game give you that information?
No, that's the deep magic there.
Okay.
Also, this game features a very aggressive fast travel system where you can at any time just pull up the map and click on any of these floor symbols. I love that so much because let me tell you something. Prior to this game, so many of these games feature so much backtracking. Binding of Isaac, you are running back and forth across the maps in that game just over and over again for so much of your playtime. What do we got? Is it the gull? Oh no, okay, it's easy. Right? Like, look at it. Look at the joy. Look at the joy that the video game is experiencing while it is showing you all of the stuff. Oh dear. Okay.
Whoa. Oh, this is a little bullet helly too.
Yes, this game in particular is very bullet helly. You could tell there were some sort of like suggestions that was a place that Edmund McMillan wanted to go with the Binding of Isaac, but in its original form, when it was a Flash game, he actually couldn't make the patterns as dense and difficult as he liked because Flash just took damage. What a baddie. Flash just can't handle the entity amount. That is why the rebuild of the game in the new engine features so much more bullet hell stuff because he could finally do it.
Yeah.
So that was a design decision that he had made long ago that he had always wanted to fulfill. I don't necessarily think that it makes the game better. I think there's a lot of stuff about the rebuild of Binding of Isaac. Of course, not least of which is that it is made by that company and gives money to that man.
I don't know that.
That's
I'm assuming by that man you mean the villain from Guilty Gear.
I mean the villain Tyrone Rodriguez, who. And now that I'm saying it, I'm like, oh god, do I have my story straight? But I believe the guy who runs Nicholas, or at least the guy who did run Nicholas at the time, again, might be information out of date. And we did, in fact, get a gun here. The Demon Head. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Is the dude who basically conned the Cave Story developer into signing over the rights to his game. I'm just going to go ahead and spend keys. Let's just open these up. Okay, machine pistol. Generally speaking, the two chests on a level, I believe one of them is a gun and the other one is an item of some kind. Got ourselves a little bullet time, an item that we can use to. This is my Ammonomicon, because of course it is.
All right.
You know how we do. The bullet time. This clock holds mystical properties that enable the activator to slow down time. Got ourselves a machine pistol. The Demon Head. Many of the weapons are references to weapons from other media. In particular, there's a lot of like action movies. Any anime or action movie or other video game where there is a gun that has a name, that gun's gonna show up. We can only carry one item at a time here, so I'm gonna pick this back up and use it to call in an ammo drop, because you can see limited ammunition, and I did fire a bunch of lasers into walls like a big idiot, just for fun.
Like an amazing gamer.
Like an amazing gamer. Okay, hold on. Is this what we opened up with the fireplace? The way down to it requires keys. I forgot about that. Well, I guess we're not going to the secret floor because it requires keys. That's fine. We're just gonna keep gaming normal style.
Okay.
Slamming
Why are you
down
doing
normal
that?
style. Yeah, people have important questions in the chat.
So Jaina is asking, what does wanged mean in this context?
I don't know. I assume it's a reference to Shadow Warrior or something, where that seems like a kind of game that would have this weapon, and the protagonist, his name is Lo Wang because people thought anti-Asian racism was very funny in 1995, whenever it was that the original Shadow Warrior came out.
Okay.
That game is so racist. If you go back and play it, it's really horrifying. Hey, you know what's really funny?
What?
Is every time somebody types the word lesbian in chat, it highlights it for me because it contains the characters SB next to each other.
Oh,
looking over at the chat and just seeing the highlights, that is very funny to me. So this is what this thing does. Fuck you.
So while you're doing this, I will ask, do you have a favorite horror game?
Yeah, we didn't finish the horror question. That's my bad. So yeah, I can't really play horror games that are reliant on jump scares. And then another big problem for me lately with horror games, and when I say lately, I mean the last decade or so, is that I don't much like the closet games, the Amnesia, the subgenre that Amnesia ushered into being.
Yeah, I can't imagine. It'd be very stressful for me, I'd imagine.
That said, I did like. To be clear, part of it is that I do find like Amnesia in particular, I really was bored by. But I also do think sometimes it's just like they're too effective. I'm a huge baby, and like part of the reason I love horror media is because it is really effective on me, and part of the reason I can't with the jump scares is because they are too effective. Like I had to stop. Alien Isolation is brilliant, but I actually had to stop playing it because it was too fucking stressful. I just couldn't handle it. So when I want to get down to the horror game, like it's important for it to be kind of gentle on those elements. People who've been watching the channel over the last like year or two might remember Saturnalia. Saturnalia is probably about at the edge of what I can handle, and I did think that game was really rad. And I like games that have, very dark theming. Pathologic is another, I think, great example of a horror game that is like up my alley and I think is very good, but that I had to give up on because it was too much. Although Pathologic's too much in a variety of ways. KSP, should you be using all your fancy guns on all these normal enemies? Like,
yes.
Yeah, what am I gonna get buried with it? Okay, these guys are made of the sun. I'm not gonna fire laser. That feels wrong.
So, someone is asking if you have played Soma. I don't know what Soma is.
Oh, Soma. Yeah. No, yes, I played part of Soma. I don't like. I figured out what they were doing very, very quickly. Like the sort of the sci-fi premise of the story. This is an ammo box that restores some of the green ammo boxes. Completely restore the ammo for whatever weapon you have equipped when you pick them up. The red ones restore some of your ammo for all of your guns. So that's handy. So yeah, I kind of bounced off Soma because I was like, I found myself a little annoyed with the writing. Apologies for my incendiary video game opinions. Please do not anybody take me bouncing off of stuff as like a personal judgment.
Yeah.
Because I am a curmudgeon about everything.
You are, and I love that about you. Speaking of writing in games, so
yeah,
my favorite horror game, very obvious choice for me, is We Know the Devil.
Okay.
Because the writing is so strong, and it's the themes of like queer monstrousness are like so potent in it, and it's just I'm not a huge visual novel player necessarily, but
yeah, I've seen you. You're pretty regular sized.
Wait, what?
Sorry. Please continue. That was not worth interrupting you for.
But yeah, it was. It's a game that actually I played shortly after I figured out my gender junk, and it was extremely resonant.
I am not good at this game anymore. So this guy is Buckler. The tutorial for this game involves you hilariously betraying a man and stealing his stuff, and this is that man. He is back for revenge on account of what you done. You dirty sneak thief, you. You can kill a ghost with a gun because you can kill everything with a gun, because that's what guns is for.
No, that makes sense to me.
So you can see in the proud tradition of bullet hells, of course, the evasive maneuver is not a fun bonus; it is a requirement. The bullet patterns are designed to be impossible without using your invincibility. Am I opening you? I don't know.
Yes, please.
Not. Amabel, there are people present. Are you really pleased with yourself?
You can't edit me this time.
I guess that's true. You got me there.
I have so much power to abuse.
Also, you're the only one paying attention to chat because I'm trying not to get shot to death. So you could tell me they're asking absolutely anything and I would believe you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you probably get the idea of this, but also I'm just having a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah.
This is like the basic sort of combat roguelite thing, and there were a lot of games in this vein. What's it called? The Atomic Wasteland one, Nuclear Throne. It was very popular. Nuclear Throne was one I never played very much of, and I was very bad at it. But it does exist, and I know it's a lot of people's favorite.
So I noticed this does have like you said, a lot of bullet hell vibes. Is bullet hell a thing that you enjoy generally outside of this kind of context?
Bullet elements. Yeah, I don't play a lot of shmups.
Yeah,
is what I will say about that.
Yeah, I remember I had you play a shmup for me once.
Yeah, and I'm bad at it.
Yeah. Which was, for people curious, was the game White Butterfly, which is my favorite shmup. It's 15 years old. It's you just find and download. It's not on Steam or anything. It's freeware. You download online, and the designer of that actually was the original designer of what became the Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup roguelike. That's thematically irrelevant. I'm actually, I'm tying it together.
Yeah, good work.
Nick DeCapua is asking if we are thinking about getting back to the in-sim history lessons, or are we still recovering from Thief?
Yeah, so here's the problem with that. I hope, Amabel, you don't mind me speaking on your behalf.
I don't.
Part of what is a little bit of a bummer about not the way that I would prefer to do it about that project. Holy hell, I'm so bad at video games. What happened? I mean, I'm alive, but only just. We are refilling our demon head. Need more demon tongue. Part of the problem with that is that I have already played basically all of the games that we would want to play for such a thing.
Yeah.
And you do not love playing action games on camera. It turns out it's a little more stressful, I think, than you would like.
I don't really have a lot of the same skills you do as far as reaction time. My reaction time is quite slow, and also just observing all the elements of a game.
Yeah.
And three-dimensional space is difficult for me to navigate. I played a lot of video games when I was much younger, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and then I stopped playing games around 1994 and did not start playing them again until the PS3 came out. And I mostly have stuck with games that aren't three-dimensional games because they're difficult for me to gauge distances, spatial relationships, and whatnot. So yeah, I would have a lot of trouble, I think, playing an ImSim on camera. And since you've already played all of them,
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a genre I have strong feelings about.
yeah,
And like, it's not invalid to have one played by somebody who's already played it. It's not like I only want to feature gameplay that has like authentic new reactions. Yo, that chest is breathing.
right.
This is a mimic. Okay, coin crown, play well, get money. Somewhere on each level there is a secret room that you have to enter by using a blank to blow open the door to it, to blow open the false wall to it. I haven't been using my blanks at all because I forget how video games work.
Yeah. And I mean, I certainly wouldn't mind you showing me some ImSim stuff, like, showing me a level or two of this game or that game sometime. If that's something that you'd want to do, like, on a future stream, to kind of further edge. Because Thief is kind of like ImSim, right? It's not like quite there, or
yeah, I would say that Thief is like just this side of the Tangler. Oh, it's on now. Yeah, Thief is like just this side of what I would traditionally consider an ImSim. The Nod key is too expensive, but normal keys is purchasable. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I think it might be worth still, just me playing through the ImSims while you sort of like watch and ask questions. But I did not think that was as high a priority as getting you exposed to disco before.
yeah.
When I realized that you had no knowledge of it and were basically like completely unspoiled.
Yeah, and like we've been talking, like you've been talking about me playing disco since we were like halfway through Pentiment.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's a very exciting idea to me because I think I just like I know that there's so many ways in which it is a thing that will appeal to you, and we haven't gotten to most of the cool ones yet even. So notice that this gun rectangles the targets.
That's pretty good.
It's hard to tell with the shotgun shells; those guys are already pretty rectangled. But yeah, there's a lot of silly guns in this game. Holy shit!
Cat of Ninetails is suggesting that you bring me on for when Gloomwood finally comes out. I don't know what a Gloomwood is.
Oh man, I'm very, very excited. Gloomwood is so much dedicated to its like tagline idea of being thief with guns that I believe if you go to thiefwithguns.com, that still redirects to the Gloomwood website. I think that's true. Now I'm checking. Thiefwithguns.com, is that functional? But that's the idea. That's the thing they're doing. They're building a thing that is, it brings you to the Steam page. It brings you to they're producing a thing with the aesthetic of Thief, a little bit more modernization, and also their guns. Also, there's guns in it. It looks rad. It looks so rad, and it's got like inventory Tetris, like very Resident Evil 4 style inventory Tetris, in a sort of like a diegetic inventory item that you like place out in front of you, and there's so much cool stuff going on. I'm excited to play it. You might be present for that. That might be a thing that has to happen.
I mean, I would love that so long as there is an analog to the Spirit Halloween skeleton you're so frightened of.
it's a game full of things that are legitimately very scary. So yeah, just like that, in fact. What's another roguelite? You wanna learn more about roguelites. So that's like that's a whole period of roguelites there. At the Enter the Gungeon, Nuclear Throne kind of thing. As you mentioned, you played Balatro. The basic idea of the meta progression run based game has extended in every direction you can imagine.
Okay.
So it's been applied to. The thing about it is, it's not really a genre in the sense that we usually use genre when we talk about games. A genre is already like very messy, right? It's a very messy term. I feel like you always have to define what you mean when you say genre. But as we often say genre, and if you don't define what you mean by it, people are talking roughly about like mechanics, right? They're talking about third-person stealth games versus first-person shooter games versus puzzle games, whatever. And roguelite is not a genre in that sense. A roguelite is a kind of meta progression design that can be applied to any gameplay genre. It's a sort of a meta design element. Whereas roguelike absolutely is
a genre.
A mechanical genre because it is specifically about things in the gameplay, right? The turn-based, tile-based stuff. Roguelite is a horrible name for the thing that it is. We really do need to decouple those terms, and
it won't happen.
It won't happen. It will never happen, and it's so frustrating. I very much like some of the work that's been done in this place. Procedural Death Labyrinth is a fun term, but it just is not broad enough. It doesn't. The problem with like a lot of the terms that have been invented, like Procedural Death Labyrinth, is that they're still trying to marry the two things. They're still trying to marry the like and the light, but it's like they're totally divergent ideas. They don't even exist on the same axis.
So let me ask you about a specific thing that I noticed in the roguelites that I've played.
Okay, yeah.
Like Hades, Spire, Into the Breach, etc. Is that a run of the game from start to finish, from start to winning or usually losing for me? It takes 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Like a Hades run is 30 or 40 minutes. Right.
Well, I mean that's not that's not what the playtime of my Hades 2 videos would suggest.
Well, so what? Like, how common is that? Like, if you were to complete a run of Enter the Gungeon, like, would that be 30, 40 minutes? Would it be a few hours? How many games within this space have like longer run times, and how many are kind of geared for these shorter?
Gungeon for sure is geared toward that same kind of play. It depends a little bit what you do. So Gungeon, inspired by what's the game? Spelunky. Gungeon, inspired by Spelunky, has a sort of like a secondary progression path. That starts with that switch behind the fireplace thing, and then you pick up an item on that first secret floor that makes it so that you can access a second secret floor after the second normal floor. So depending on how much of that stuff you do, you can extend a run quite a bit. But yeah, it definitely, like, if you're just doing the normal path, it has a runtime of like 45 minutes to an hour. There's a lot of that. It was deemed that was the right length at some point. So I'm switching on one of my favorite roguelites here, and I'm gonna screen share. You've certainly seen this though. This is an attempt to roguelite the 4X genre, turn it into sort of a score attack thing, because it's difficult to come up with like objective-based gameplay. Although in the campaign they did do that a bunch of times, and I think the campaign levels are really, really solid. But yeah, this is sort of like an economic-based 3X. They took out the combat, is how they made it like tightened it up. And we'll just play it. We'll just like do a run here on challenging. And this is mostly just for background visual flavor. I'm not going to talk too much about the mechanics of this extremely fucking complicated game. But if you want to see this game more in depth, if this looks cool to you, it's called Slipways. I've played a bunch of it on the channel, and it's so rad. It's worth your money. Just go ahead and buy it right now if it looks like it appeals to you at any point during this process. Yeah. So yeah, this is like this, and this is doing that same thing. The idea was get it random so that you can enjoy the exploration based parts of it. So it does conform to like a lot of the roguelite ethos in that way, and get the playtime down to like 45 minutes to an hour. And so it is a very run based economic 3x type game where you are setting up industries and feeding the industries into each other, and satisfying the needs of various planets. I'm gonna need some basic habitability resources here. People like food and shelter. That's the biggest problem with people, in my opinion.
I got to watch you play this once before, and my feeling was, it's really pretty and looks like a really complicated logistics puzzle to solve, and there's no way I could do it. Like it's just it's too much for me to try to hold into my head.
Okay, that's very sweet. I don't know if I think you're maybe overselling the difficulty a little bit. This is absolutely one of my favorite games. It has come out in the last like 10 years. I played so much of this, both on camera. I played a bunch of it on camera. I played a huge amount of it off camera.
You absolutely did. Yeah.
This was my go-to game for a long time. It is really hard. I do not have a good food setup here. Okay, all right. This will work. This will work. Will it? How does one start a game of this? I just need to generate some food, and it's a little tricky. These planets reach each other? Okay. So we're going to turn this planet into an arid planet into a colony world. It produces people, but it needs food and water to do so. We have over here a primordial world where we can set up water extraction. And then over here, an Earth-like world that I can turn into an agro world. Let's turn that into a farm. Connect and connect. And all these planets have unmet needs now, and that's a problem, and we're going to solve them. We're going to solve so many problems. Establish one planet producing 4 or more non-people resources. This planet can get to that much, right? Yeah. To get some biomass onto it? That's the problem. But anyway, please keep asking questions and stuff.
Ask questions. I will feed them to her. And I will also ask questions.
Yes, I would love questions.
Yeah.
Let's do minerals make robots. We can set up a mine on this lava world, thanks to the perk I took from my Bakar space dwarves, who are part of my sort of federation. And there we go. We have a basic web of needs being met. Every planet is having its basic needs met, is feeding somebody else. That's like the basic cycle, and then we just got to figure out how to optimize the shit out of absolutely everything. Can I reach the station? I cannot reach that station. That's a shame. But yeah, so this is still a roguelite, and like roguelite, it's almost, in a way, it's almost a little bit like the ImSim thing, where like ImSim, more than a commitment to any specific set of mechanics, is a commitment to like an ethos about game design, like some certain ideas. And the ImSims do generally share a lot of mechanics, but there's no reason that they would have to. And you do start to see, as we continue on, into the future, into the present, toward the present from the past, you start to see that stuff get blurrier and blurrier, in part because in a lot of ways, a lot of games have stolen sort of the edges of ImSim design now. Like the idea that a game space and environment should be reactive and should allow for more emergent solutions to problems is like, it's just become the norm. It's become extremely common in like more expensive game development, like AAA-ish kind of game development. And you end up with these things like ImSims generally have a pretty similar thumbprint, in part because of the fact that 80% of them have been developed by the same 8 people, right? But like, I would argue that the new Hitman games are ImSims.
Okay.
The recent Hitman 1, 2, and 3 trilogy, and those certainly do not necessarily have the same profile in a lot of ways.
No, but they have like it's an emergent gameplay systems first rather than set piece design, right?
Yeah, and not rather than. It can be in addition to.
Well, yeah, sure. Ooh, but like as a philosophical starting point, you know.
Yep. See, now this planet has been upgraded by the fact that I've met enough of its needs and it has enough outputs. And if we get 3 of the planets connected to it, 2 successful as well, then it can level up to an even higher level of trade income and outputs and whatnot. And this is sort of the thing. You have a certain amount of time to just generate as much prosperity as it is possible to generate in your universe. Which is it's a sort of silly, like, there are things to be said about the way capitalism, etc. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm just watching all the numbers go up. Although, maybe that particular brain poison also is an element of capitalism lodged in my brain.
So that does, talking about the ImSim approach reminds me that I talked about this a little bit in the book that I wrote. I'm not here to promote that. So
do you want to pitch your book? You can pitch your book.
I don't want to pitch my. I
guess you can't buy it yet, so that does complicate.
So like it's not. I'm not pitching the book. I was contacted to write a book, and so I wrote one. And something I talked about is because in the historical board game space, board games especially are systems, like they're mechanical structures first and foremost, and they don't really have the same kind of tendency towards set pieces that like a AAA game does in the video game space. But still, the way most historical games impart theme or narrative is through like set piece moments, cards that have these one-off effects, and it's gets in the way of understanding the system. And so I feel like you get a lot more emergent gameplay and a lot more understanding of a subject if you have a system that's built that maybe is a bit more abstract than it would be in an ImSim, because board games are more abstract. But like I get so tired of like this little card is how we do theme. This little sequence is what makes it thematic or makes it a story where players are telling stories through the way they're playing the games. Is I guess the thing I'm rambling about. I have some questions for you. Great. Okay.
Yeah, I am a big believer in the idea that the thing that is happening in the mechanics is the story. And like, if you want to tell, let's say a B+ season of The Walking Dead in cutscenes in between your gameplay segments, that doesn't make that stuff the story of the game. The story is whatever you spend your time doing in the game. It's the mechanical execution. That's what makes the medium different from, it's what makes an interactive medium different from a passive medium. I don't want to say passive medium because
just call out Pandemic Legacy.
I don't want to say passive medium because I don't mean to, obviously I'm a big active engagement, whatever. Hey, ask those questions before I dig myself any deeper.
Yeah. Okay. So I have the question: have you played Aliens: Dark Descent? It has great atmosphere and tension, especially for a tactics game. Have you played
Aliens
that?
Dark Descent. Hold on, I'm looking. That is familiar to me. The name is familiar. I'm just making. I think the answer is no, but I think I really thought about it.
Okay.
The store page. Yes, I really did. When this came out, I really considered it. It looks really neat. But I just in the end didn't decide to do that. And we got limited resources over here at Castle Grayskull, and
Yeah. But you can help with that by going to patreon.com/I don't know what your
patreon.com/SBPlaysGames. Thank you. You're way better at this than I am already. All right, let's got some planets there. They're humming along. Things are getting okay.
Also, we have someone asking if you intend to return to Dead Cells. From their understanding, you'll get its final update later this year.
Oh, yeah, okay. They're putting a cap on it. That's a maybe. I played a lot of Dead Cells to get to the ending that I got to when that was the ending. And I don't want to say no in any kind of definitive way, but gosh, I played a lot of Dead Cells. Yeah, maybe. I will give you a tentative maybe.
Do you think Rain World would be better if it was a roguelite?
That's interesting. I think that the I wish you could have seen the look on my face. I think that the answer to that question is based on what you consider Rain World, it sounds like a crazy thing to say, but what I mean is, I think you could maybe make the base game of Rain World a roguelite, and that might actually suit what it's doing better. But obviously, so much of what makes Downpour functional is the fact that you are going back to these places again and again. Like, I think Downpour requires a static world. The themes and the sort of like environmental development work that they're doing over time requires a static thing. So there's that. I don't know how much that was the question though. If they're just talking about like the base experience of Rain World.
Oh, that was just my question. I just asked that question. That wasn't original.
Okay. Yeah, I think the base experience of Rain World absolutely could be a roguelite. It might be better off if it was. Like the thing is, there's a lot of that's tough because there's a lot of really, really cool, very intentional environmental design, and the way the environments abut each other and connect or don't connect is also part of the thematic element. Like I think the gameplay of Rain World could work. The basic gameplay of Slugcat needs to find a place to go to be safe would probably work okay in a roguelite format, but I do think also that there's a lot more to Rain World than that. And the magic of Rain World, the stuff that really makes me love it and that keeps me coming back, is mostly that other stuff. Is mostly the bizarre world and the connections that are made within it, and like Do
you think so one thing that, because I've watched you play a little bit of Rain World, I've certainly heard you talk about Rain World enough to be able to razz you about it.
Yeah.
But one thing that comes up in discussions of the game is the idea that it's the most well-modeled ecosystem in a game ever.
Oh, don't do this thing. I feel bad. I feel bad for these poor developers because I think they've been saddled with a fan base that is mostly very cool and normal, like any fan base. But it has some people in it that are a little.
Okay, I'm not trying to do this thing. I'm okay. Asking if you think a meta progression procedurally generated kind of thing would bring out more of it, out more systemic interactions, an ecosystem kind of thing. Foreground that more than designed experience, or wouldn't
Yeah,
really make
yeah,
a difference.
yes, I think so. I think so. But your game has to actually have that stuff in it, which Rain World doesn't. Like
Yeah.
Sim Earth. Let me tell you about Sim Earth, a game
What's Sim Earth?
I bought in 1993 on three 1.4 megabyte floppy disks. Like that kind of ecology simulation does exist. The problem with it is like I honestly probably would not find a game like that interesting. It would fail to command my attention. Because I do want
Yeah.
Again, it's not the gameplay of Rain World that keeps me coming back to Rain World. It's the other stuff.
Yeah.
If you made a Rain World roguelite, it doesn't engage with the narrative elements at all. It's just we're just throwing the Slugcat gameplay at you in a bunch of different situations. I would get tired of that very quickly, I think.
Yeah, I know there are other games where you have similar experience where like the like you enjoy the gameplay to a degree, but it's the other stuff that really brings the thing out for you.
Yeah, and I feel conflicted about that, to be clear, because like I feel sometimes like I am this weird curmudgeon on the side of like, hey, where is the gameplay coming from? Like,
Yeah.
there are a lot of games that people like that I don't like because it's like, why isn't this a novel? Like, in what way does this even benefit from being a game? So it always does feel a little weird to me. One of the things I got at in a script for the Game of the Year video that never came out. Not for
It hasn't come out yet.
hasn't come out yet. Not for 2023, but for 2022's games, is that I definitely am like I feel like I'm in sort of a weird, difficult to defend place with some of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I absolutely can be drawn to a game in ways that are very not the gameplay sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that's art though. Art is complicated, and you can have different. Like there are things that irritate the heck out of me in some movies. I'm like, oh, I don't like that in movies. But other movies where like it works for me for whatever reason, and that's part of the human experience.
Yeah,
And I think the reason why
a huge critical part of the human experience is having principles that are fake.
no,
Ex post facto justifications for why what you felt initially is just right, is just objectively right.
I mean, there's also like a question of like
I'm sorry, I'm being difficult on purpose.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about you. You can have like some aesthetic complexity, it's like
there's like a whole text tree and stuff. I'm not even engaging. I'm playing this game terribly because I'm not really paying attention, but I just kind of wanted to show it on stream. Like, this is a fascinating thing. It is so fun. The campaign is so cool. I'm gonna dip back into my library here and find another weird roguelite.
Okay, and while you do that, there's some more questions, and they are okay. Someone said something very sweet about my videos, and if there's any topics I can preview, I will do this briefly while she's.
Oh yes, your excellent video essays, because Amabel has started to do video essays recently.
Yep, I've done 6 of them since last August, and I'm trying to get to like once a month on which you can support that on my Patreon, patreon.com/Amabel. I remember that one.
You did cut off a little bit while saying it though. That is patreon.com/Amabel Holland.
Thank you, sweetheart. So I'm working on right now about difficulty in games and the way in which games are kind of the only art form where parts of the experience and or narrative beats are gated behind challenges that you pass or fail or pass to some degree, and that influences what the thing is and how where that comes from and how that affects the way games are made and played. Because a lot of my video essays are game design, but also about game playing and game culture. Usually with more of a board game film. So I've been heavy around the video game lately. One that is more video game oriented, with the exception of like campaign games in board games, like legacy games. You don't really have this same kind of gating because a session of a board game tends to be a self-contained experience. And then someone asks if we ever expect SB Amabel crossovers go the other way with you showing up on my channel. You have a couple times. We did an interview with Smite, and you were
yes,
part of that interview. You were an integral part of that interview.
Smite of Arcade Pit fame.
I felt. And then you actually did a little bit of voiceover promotional video for Kaiju
Table Battles, yeah. Your microphone is it's cutting bits off your words more and more as we go on here.
Great.
We gotta the problem is Discord's auto detect stuff. We gotta figure out a better solution for this. Again, part of the problem is that you are working off of an old microphone that is not in good shape and is also the wrong kind of microphone for the thing we're using it for. But I didn't know what I was doing when I bought that stuff, and also I didn't have any money, so it's it's a very cheap version of the thing that it is.
I mean, I assume whenever I'm able to like get an actual grown-up computer, that I'll get a grown-up microphone.
Yeah, that makes sense. We can definitely do that. So this is a game called Dome Keeper, and I think that whether or not this is a roguelite, I think is sort of an interesting discussion. It's like it's a run-based game in a very traditional way, and I think it ticks a lot of the boxes, but like, most classic arcade games are run-based games, right? If you go to the arcade and you play 1942 or whatever, like that's a run-based game, but it's certainly not a roguelite. And so, like, where exactly do you draw the line? How much meta progression stuff do you need? Stuff like that. Because, like, this game has, it has unlockables and stuff, but you're not improving your power much from run to run. You're unlocking, like, different options for your base, the different kinds of base you can play as, stuff like that. For the most part, I haven't played this in a while, and the upgrade trees are different now. So that's interesting. I mean, we're going to need this eventually. And also drill strength for more faster drilling, more go fast to the drilling. So this is a game where you are in control of this dome here, and it is a space capitalism video game. There are a lot of these around. Mm-hmm. You are trying to extract the resources from this place via drilling, and every once in a while, every so often, every X seconds, waves of bad guys, waves of indigenous creatures will come to try to destroy your dome, and you must fight them off with the weaponry attached to said dome. Which means you have to get back up there and command the weaponry because it's not automated. There's a bunch of different kinds of domes you can have. There's a bunch of different kinds of secondary sort of like defensive structures. And in addition to just trying to like, there's a prestige mode in which you're just trying to like score the highest resource score as possible. We're in the artifact hunt mode where there is a win condition. It is just we're looking for a particular object somewhere down there in the mines. You spend your currency to upgrade yourself and your base in various ways, as you saw on that the little resource tree. Gotta fly everything back up here to the grinder. Well, this base has some kind of like material dissolution tank. The normal gun base has a big material grinder that you put everything in. Wow. We got bug sign. They're not bugs. They're like rock shadow creatures.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah.
Love that for them.
Oops, sorry, go into combat mode. Guess what? Fuck you. There's a machine gun. Right. This thing, you don't have to bullseye flying enemies with the mortar. There's a machine gun.
Yeah, so like one thing people don't know, because I don't think it happens that often on your video, is you say fuck you like that a lot, and it's a lot of fun. You say that to your friends to greet them, and you say that to like when you are kicking things or killing things in a video game, and it always charms me. This is why I fell in love with you, is the thing.
It's just the way I gleefully curse out things as I destroy them.
Yeah.
This makes me sound like a good and stable individual.
Good. That's what I wanted. Someone is asking about pre-ordering the book. I'm still waiting for the editor to say, yeah, I like this book. We're definitely gonna do this. They asked me to write a book, and it's like a STEM based kind of publishing label. And I'm not really a STEM kind of person. I'm more a humanities kind of person. So I want to make sure that it's the thing they want. They've already paid me for part of it, so like I hope it's the thing they want. I don't know when it's coming out, so I'm sure if you like follow me on Blue Sky or whatever, I'll mention it when that happens.
Yeah, Blue Sky is a great place to get a hold of us, and I'm realizing now I have a Twitter link on the YouTube page that is defunct. I do not Twitter anymore. We are on the Blue Sky now instead. That is the social media site that all of the trans people went to when Elon took over Twitter. So yeah, bluesky.com/SB plays. I'm SB plays games on there, as I am most places. Or SB makes stuff. What's my Blue Sky thing?
I think it's SB makes stuff on Blue Sky for you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you'll know it's me if you search. I got the branding, and my branding is really tight, and I hardly threw up in my mouth at all when I said branding that time. So I think that's really an improvement.
Yeah, good job.
Part of the reason I'm broke is that I can't do business stuff because I think I'm better than it.
Yeah, good job, sweetie. Yeah, so no, there isn't a Blue Sky link because she just hasn't done it. I haven't done it yet for my thing either. So I mean,
yeah, I'm spacey is the reason. I love to be in space.
But someone has asked, while we're talking about genre and definitions again, any interest in Sifu? I've kind of fallen in love with it. Sifu is SIFU.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Sifu. Sifu is a martial arts game that is I guess kind of roguelite. I actually don't know. Is Sifu a roguelite? I know it's a game where you like do multiple runs through environments, and you like every time you lose, your character gets older. There's like a sort of like a limited lives mechanic, I think, based on like, you know, it's very very Kung Fu movie inspired, like very very Kung Fu movie inspired. It seems rad, and a lot of people like a very good friend of mine has gotten really into it recently. There's no end of positive things to say about it. I could maybe do that. If that's the thing people want to see, please let me know. People recommend games to me in a lot of ways. Sometimes I just get emails. There is an email address that is accessible on the YouTube channel page. You can use that. You can hit me on Blue Sky. You can message me on the Patreon. I do not generally reply to messages. Please understand that this is because I have extreme social anxiety, and the amount of time that it takes me to write even a very simple message to a stranger, like compounded by the like, oh my God, is this tone right? Like how much it's just often, it's often kind of an onerous task to reply. And I feel silly saying that, but it is the truth. So I often will not reply, but I will see your thing. And I certainly have played lots of games because they have been recommended.
Yeah.
We got a sick microchip here, except I guess this is a macro chip. But this will install some kind of new system into our base, provided that I get back up there before it gets entirely eaten by aliens.
What's a macro chip?
Oh God, it's like a microchip, but very large. That's the joke.
Okay. Oh, it's a joke. Okay, I didn't know. I don't know what's a joke and what's a real technology thing, because you'll tell me about these things, and I'm like, is that a real thing? And you're like, yes. And I don't know.
Yeah, the secret is I only tell you that when it's a real thing. So you just have to know ahead of time. So my point is I'm useless. But I think you knew that. I think at this point in our relationship, you probably know that I am of limited utility.
I think you're being hard on yourself, but
I'm what's known in ecological circles as a luxury being.
Okay, that's fair.
I can only survive in environments that are sufficiently luxurious, and I cannot add anything to these environments. Listen, unless you want to hear somebody talk about video games a lot at very great length.
She does do that.
Which is a thing I can do. That's a skill that I have. That's not true. I'm limiting myself. I'm selling myself short here. I can also talk about other kinds of games at very great length. Board games, traditional games, mind games, head games.
I remember the time that you played Deep Rock Galactic for a couple hours, and that was our date night. It was pretty good.
Amabel.
What?
First of all, you're giving away all my secrets. Secondly, that makes me sound roughly as bad as I actually am, which I cannot abide by. Oh, no, it's alien time, actually. This would be a bad time to leave. I need to upgrade my thrusters, but I am really short on iron. We have not found a lot of good resource yet.
I wanted to highlight a comment here.
Okay.
Which is, thank you for telling us how to be sensitive about getting in touch. Sorry for the parasocial nature of this thing. Respect that you all need for it to be bearable and healthy. I thought that was nice.
That is nice. Yeah, like, parasociality is a complicated thing I have a lot of thoughts on. But, like, here's the thing. This is not about parasociality. Here's the thing that I'm just, like, coming to terms with very, very slowly. It's really been a long time coming, and I'm not good about it, but I've had a lot of internalized shame about this stuff for a long time, and with therapy and stuff, and the help of a loving partner who is also, experiencing some of these same things, I'm definitely coming to terms with the fact that, like, my mental health stuff and, like, my various oddnesses, I have a lot of ways in which I am weird. A lot of them are fairly debilitating, and I try to, like, soft sell them and be like, haha, I just, like, oh, I'm so awkward around people, but, like I have fucking, I'm gonna say the word, I have, like, disabilities. I have problems that I have not treated or taken seriously for most of my life, and I've just sort of let them, like, blow up every normal thing I've ever tried to do, and, flunk me out of college on a couple of different occasions and stuff, and I just, like, there are things about me that I need to just like take a little bit more seriously and not be so ashamed of. And yeah, like my difficulty with communication and strangers is definitely one of them. I am like for sure some flavor of autistic, and that's just the thing that we've never really like dealt with. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So you know, I'm not trying to be all like weird and vulnerable on stream, y'all. But yeah,
I mean,
so
yeah, but it's. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, obviously, and I'm sure everyone else does as well. And
yeah, it's a shameful thing to admit. I think we have culturally we have a lot of stigma around this kind of stuff. I think less now than when I was a kid and getting my life like really destroyed by it. But like the only reason my life's not being actively destroyed by it right now is like I have neurological, let's say, divergences that make it, for one thing, like I can't control my sleep in the way a lot of people can. I am, yeah, and it is like the reason that I stream and the reason that I like to have taken it seriously and have gotten it to a place where I'm like doing a thing for money and like working like a real job is because I have failed out of every attempt to work in real life, like a grown-up job that I've ever attempted, because I can't stay on a schedule because my brain like literally can't.
yeah,
There's a lot of things about like straight life, square life, normal people life, whatever you want to call it, that I literally cannot do. And so I am here in part because this is the only thing I've ever found where I can be in control of my circumstances and situation, and most of all time, enough that I can do it to a standard where I don't get fired and lose all of my income.
yeah.
Do you see that I shot 2 of them at the same time with the mortar? That is not what mortars are for, but it sure did do the job. Yeah, so I'm uncomfortable talking about this stuff a little bit, but it is. I'm trying to take it more seriously. I'm trying to take myself and my health and stuff more seriously now.
Good.
While at the same time trying to push myself into things that I'm not comfortable with so much, which is what we're doing right now.
This is what we're doing right now. Yes, it was. How are you enjoying it so far?
I hope it's going all right. I know this stream in particular is very aimless. Know that is not necessarily the long-term intent, but like right now we're partially doing a technical test, and part of the technical that we're testing is whether I can handle this. It really, really helps for me not to be looking directly at chat and not be getting not getting overwhelmed in that way, to have a person who is managing chat. So thank you very much, Amabel.
That's more or less what I'm trying to do, and I do have
questions. Is there stuff?
Yeah. So, do you plan to do any more War 3? Was looking forward to that. You always make it interesting and fun.
The answer to that is maybe. The not Games Workshop, they're not the people. Creative Assembly, which is to say Sega, changed the way their program works. I don't want to like talk about behind the scenes stuff. Also, I'm not 100% sure what I'm not allowed to talk about. I signed some contracts at some point, but some stuff changed. They changed over like the way they're giving out codes and sort of like who's on the list, and I did not get brought over onto the new list, and I don't know to what level of intent is behind that and what might be an accident. So I'm gonna talk to some people and we'll see. But basically the long and the short of it is I did not get codes for this most recent batch of content. And so that is why there was not like stuff. You know, any big reorganization thing, there's going to be some hiccups or whatever. I'm not holding it against anyone, but it's a lot easier for me to do this stuff if I get it for free, because we are not the richest people on Earth over here.
No. No, we're not. Like I feel this is my hot take. I feel like you should get more codes for free. That's what I feel.
I also think I should get more free stuff. Ice cream, free ice cream, a lot should
Free ice cream
happen.
sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
Go ahead.
but if you wanna help
No,
SB
no, no,
cover
no, no,
more
no, no.
games.
Hold on. That's not what we're doing. I mean, like obviously contribute if you want to contribute, but I'm like an extreme luxury good. I get that. And
Yeah,
I also get that times are tough for everyone everywhere.
they
And
are. Yeah.
and yeah,
I
so
mean,
please
and
don't.
I'm certainly.
I don't if it comes to the point where like me talking about how we do not have the most money in the world, and to be clear, we're not starving, we're not in an emergency situation, we are housing secure and everything. But if it comes to the point where that like is making people feel like they have to donate, I will just stop talking about it. I don't want to.
Yeah,
It's not a coercive thing. I'm just
I
talking. I'm
I
just talking
was.
about real life. I do not filter very well. I do not. I talk about things the way that things are.
Yeah,
That's part of the
it's
part
part
of
of
the
the job.
difficulties that I have had with things in my life.
And so I feel this like publishing board games that also is a luxury good, as it were.
Yeah,
And there's not a lot of money going around. And to be clear, I was kind of doing it as a joke there with the like, hey, Patreon
yeah,
stuff.
I know you were. It
But
makes
like,
me it makes me
and that's only it's the only way I
uncomfortable.
can do it.
It makes me
You know?
yeah, it makes me uncomfortable to be like hitting people up for money. I don't I don't promote the channel basically at all because like all of that stuff makes me deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
really hard to work and live in capitalism if you are a person who has deep moral problems with capitalism.
yes. Um, so we have a couple other someone says that something they love about your channel is that you are willing to be vulnerable and open about uh, the things you're going through. You do that to a degree.
I do.
Um,
I try to yeah, I
yeah.
try to be like I try to do away with the facade as much as possible. What is this? I'm gonna
Also,
plug these
uh,
irons in here. What I turned on some kind of drill?
someone says seeing you try out
Oh.
High Fleet someday would be awesome. I don't know what High Fleet is.
I do. I was wait. Is High Fleet the thing I'm thinking of? Hold on. Now I have to go look it up. There is a game. There is a game a strategy game that I bought and was kind of excited about and was getting ready to do, and then, yep, it's High Fleet. This is in my library already. I was getting ready to do this, and then the Russia Ukraine thing kicked off,
Okay.
and there are elements of the setting that are it's a little Eastern European, and I don't know, I got uncomfortable with it. I was like, I don't know that I want to be doing that right now, being like, hey, let's fly over to that city with a name that is sort of like the names of the places that are actually getting destroyed and hit it with bombs from a giant flying warship.
Yeah.
That was not a concern that I was going to get in trouble or that anybody else would be upset. It was fully thing on my part where I was just like, oh, I feel icky.
No, I relate to that.
And that's weird. That's weird. I know that it's weird for somebody who plays as many like murder games as I play to get that way about stuff. But yeah, that was what happened there.
I some years ago, like in
Oh God.
2017, I had one of the games I published from another designer was about conflict in Ukraine, and when things heated up again, uh, I kind of quietly took it down from the store for a bit
Uh huh.
because I would not feel comfortable profiting off of that. Like that made me
Sure.
feel
Yeah.
deeply, yeah.
Um. Yeah, to refocus on this game a little bit.
Yeah.
Part of what you're seeing here is like part of the challenge of this is that as you get further away from the base, you're spending more and more time just traveling.
Yeah.
Which is it can be very complicated, can cause a lot of problems. You're getting less and less time to mine. Let's grab this system and bring it home. And so, like, as you're installing new systems in the base, some of them are designed to combat this. Like, we might find in this chip. I guess let's hold on until we actually get it back to the base here. What do we have? No, this is not actually all that helpful. This sometimes like one of the devices that can show up is a cargo elevator where you can just run stuff back to the cargo elevator shaft and it will bring them up to the base for you. There's a teleporter, and of course you can focus on improving your like movement speed and stuff so that those issues are less of a problem. The prospecting meter here helps you know how far down. It helps you spend less time searching. It doesn't do anything for your travel time. But yeah, like that's as you get further. And of course, in the artifact hunt mode, the thing you're looking for is in the bottom stratum somewhere. So yeah, that's kind of like the idea of this game. Keep us going here. I'm gonna swap us probably like one more time. Just find another interesting sort of roguelite.
While you're doing that, let me ask you a question. So I saw that kind of up with stuff, and like you said, it taking longer and whatnot. And that reminds me, you showed me some kind of game. I'm gonna be real helpful with this. There was some kind of game where you had like little worker people, and you were building things and harvesting things, and like it was really kind of tedious on purpose. And then you could do things to make the game so you would have to play it less.
I got you. I know where you're going. Okay.
What was that?
You're talking about a game called the Gnorp Apologue, which is available on Steam. It is a couple of dollars. It's a seven human US dollars. And it's a kind of idle game. So idle games are games that are designed to be sort of all about not looking at the thing, like making it run itself. You automate yourself out of the process. Cookie Clicker, of course, being sort of like the canonical example of the genre. Is Vampire Survivors a roguelite? Yes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically.
Did you play that for your channel, or did you just play that for yourself?
I don't think I played any I don't think I played Vampire Survivors on the channel.
Because you played it quite a bit.
I did, and this is a little bit of a glimpse into the future because I'm still intending to actually produce that video. It is actually on my Game of the Year list for 2022 for what I think are some kind of interesting reasons, what I hope are interesting reasons. I hope that when I talk about them, it will not be like a matter of boredom for everyone. But yeah, that's a game that I put actually a lot of time into. I think there's some really cool stuff going on with it, and I find every other game in the genre, well, almost every other game in the genre, tremendously boring because like they're so focused on the wrong parts of the thing.
Now, what genre is that?
That's gonna be a controversial opinion, I think. Not controversial in the sense that anyone will have any strong feelings about it at all, but probably a lot of people will disagree with it. So the genre's got a lot of names. This idea of like the game where you are in the middle of it. I'm gonna put it on if we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, that's fine.
This thing where you are in the middle of a lot of enemies and you are producing like progressively more and more violence to deal with the increased group of enemies. Some people are just calling them survivor likes because they are like Vampire Survivors in the the proud tradition of the Doom clone. I am not a big fan of that one. the one that I've heard that I really like, that I wish would stick, and I think probably won't, is Bullet Heaven. The idea being that it is the inversion of a bullet hell, right? Where you are the one.
People in chat are bringing up that name.
Okay, yeah. Where you are the one who is bringing up you are the one who is putting out the progressively more and more insane cloud of projectiles. That's the one that I think most gets at the thing. So this is the character selection menu of my copy of Vampire Survivors. I don't have everything unlocked, and they just actually released a new thing, Operation Guns, which I did buy. Find and open the coffin in Neo Galuga. Is that a stage I even have? Who's somebody I can just play? You know who's good is Red Death. Red Death is the Mask of the Red Death, of course, is a blasphemous mockery. There's no two ways about that. This game is deeply insane, and that's the thing about it that's really compelling, and I don't understand why everybody... No, that's not true. I do understand why people wanted to make their own Vampire Survivors-like games, and then they were like, but what if I made it's about a potato, and it has all the mechanical stuff, and we're really going to dial up the complexity and interesting parts of the mechanical stuff. And, like... Not that they're not doing it, because they're doing it, but like, that's not what's interesting about this game. I don't care about the mechanical parts of this game. The game itself doesn't care about the mechanical parts of this game. I don't think so. So here's the basic idea. You're firing projectiles. To be clear, I am doing nothing but moving the character around. All of the attacks in the game are completely automatic. All the weapons, they just have ways that they function. I don't even know what I'm looking for here. Sure, give me a Bible. I love a Bible.
Not historically.
And when the enemies die, they leave behind like a little rock of XP. And then you have to go pick it up. You have to touch it, and that's how you get the XP. And every time you level up, you gain an item. The Bible is, let's see here. I'm not 100% sure what I want yet, build wise. You know what? You can never go wrong with all the guns. If we're here in Project Guns, we're gonna do gun stuff until we got the guns.
So you're playing the Mask of the Red Death. Have you seen the movie Mask of the Red Death?
Sweetie, I love you. We gotta focus a little bit more than that. We cannot be talking about Edgar Allan Poe right now.
I've thought about Vincent Price and Roger Corman.
Yeah, but it's topical. It's a Poe story. I guess it's topical. You're not wrong about that. So this game is like, it started sort of packed with a lot of Castlevania references. For example, this cross that you throw like a boomerang. But like you're seeing it right now. Like this is the game. It's just get more projectiles, shoot more stuff, kill more guys, and like walk around and pick stuff up. And like, this is the Contra level, obviously.
Okay.
I like video games a bunch. I don't know if that's clear. This is so stupid. I love it. I love it very much. And like the gameplay objectively is not interesting. I don't want to be a jerk. I don't want to I'm not trying to yuck anybody's yum. If you like one of those other things that's like this, but where they took the time to make the mechanics the forefront and stuff, please don't feel like I'm judging you or arguing with you at all. But the stuff that's happening here mechanically is not interesting mechanically. I don't think it's fair to say it's not interesting at all. Wow, that's fucking rad. But it's not the point, right? The point of this thing is that it's insane. And that's the thing that I wish people were iterating on and make their own like weird version of. And that's not really what we're seeing. That's not what you're getting in your. Some of them are doing more of it than others. blowing up the car with the scythes is very fun.
But taking like a really weird thing and taking out the weirdness
Map acquired
is. I mean, that's something I feel very strongly is bad.
This is the Yeah, I mean, well,
Like-
it's not even taking out the weirdness, right? It's focusing on the part that they, especially like people who are already game designers, you're trained to think about games in certain ways. It is you got into that place because you think of games in certain ways, and I get why, and like I do it too. I think like the thing I'm gonna say, there is a very conflicted script for the Game of the Year list because I make the counter argument to the argument that I'm making here as well, because there's a game on the list where it's like I thought a lot of the stuff around the gameplay was actually really badly executed and it left kind of a bad taste in my mouth, but then I found myself coming back to it for the mechanics over and over and over again after I was done playing with it, after I thought I was done with it. And it's just like at a certain point you have to admit that it's gaming good enough that it's outpaced the other stuff. The other stuff doesn't matter. And I don't know, maybe you could get there with one of these. Like, what I'll say is I unironically very much enjoy the Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Deep Rock Galactic. I don't want to say Deep Rock Galactic released one of these because it's not the developers of Deep Rock Galactic. It's another studio that's playing with their toys, I'm trying to get to this question mark on the map in case it's unclear.
Okay.
Oh man.
So the Deep Rock Galactic one, does it focus on the mechanics and like improve on that? Is it doing?
Hold on, I'm leveling up. All right, I just gained like 14 levels there, and I don't know why, and that's fine. We're picking up a lot of XP objects very quickly here. As the enemies get more and more dense, obviously you're picking up more and more XP, and this game does have like meta progression elements. Is this building? This building is in my way. I have my meta progression stuff tuned to like show me the maximum number of enemies at all time, maximum swarm mode.
Okay.
Sure, take wing. Wing is fine. Hold on, a chest dropped. I should get the chest. So you can tell there's a chest because there's a little arrow. So when you open a chest, you get a random level up for one of your items. But sometimes I don't think it can happen yet on this level. But sometimes something very special will happen, and I'll show you that when it occurs. I'm not building particularly carefully here. I'm building more for go fast than anything else. Look at all these Contra-ass enemies getting completely housed by the Mask of the Red Death, wielding 1,000 swirling Bibles. And you will understand what it is to love Vampire Survivors. What it is about this game that is, hey, look, a bomb of some kind. Fuck yeah.
I kind of figured out from context, but I haven't heard house used in this way. Can you explain the etymology of?
Yeah, well, I believe formally it's more like you house like food. It is to just like devour it.
Wait, why does that mean that?
I don't know. It's like the thing I did with the pizza last night. I was housing that pizza.
Is it spelled the same as the structure house, or is there a different?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is definitely like some like 80s slang, probably.
Well, how do you know it?
Because I was Amabel. I have something to admit to you. I was alive in the 80s. I'm sorry. I have space left, huh? Wait, do I have space left? Why can't I pick up a duplicator? Whatever, duplicate. Oh, right, because this thing doesn't take up a slot. It's weird that it like physically literally does take up a slot, but whatever. All right. So this guy's clearly a sub boss, right? This like walking tank man. You can see how he is absorbing far more fire than everybody else. That means when he dies, he's going to drop something pretty good, probably a chest. He's having a lot of trouble getting to me, though, because of my wall of Bibles. I cut that short. I believe the designer of this was, like, the field he was working in when he put this together was actually, like slot machine design or something. It was like a casino gaming. Which explains some elements of the visual presentation, I think.
Yeah.
Were we talking about something? I'm sorry.
I mean, we're talking about how old you are. How old and ancient you are.
Oh, yeah, so I adapted. So, yeah, you know, I'm devouring these, you know, in a way. I'm demoralizing them with my wave of scythes and violence.
People are suggesting that we also could refer to housing something as apartmentalizing or mortgaging them.
I would rather not bring discussions of filthy capitalist tools into this very pure, into the purity of the thing that's happening on your screens right now.
That's fair.
Oh, you see it? You see it? The coffin?
I don't, because it's there's just so much on the screen. I can't.
Oh no, the vampire's in another coffin. Okay. But we found Bill Reiser. Bill Reiser was in this coffin. You know, Bill Reiser.
I don't know Bill Reiser.
Did you know the characters from Contra have names? That's actually that's literally true.
Wow. And they just put I wouldn't just put the names. Wow.
What?
I would not just put the names of a different character. I'd be worried about being sued.
Oh no, this is definitely licensed. It has the Contra branding on it.
Does it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I missed that part. You know, when I did that Dracula card, I basically put a Belmont in it, but I named it Legally Distinct Whip Guy.
Legally Distinct Whip Guy, yes.
I didn't want to be sued.
Yeah, no, this is the Contra people are aware. They're gleeful that this exists. Even they're happy with it. A run of this consists of the bullshit you're seeing.
Yeah.
For approximately 30-ish minutes. Different stages have different timers. And to be clear, it's not supposed to necessarily be this easy. I picked a character who starts with an overpowered weapon, a character who is like deep in the unlocks, so that I could not be paying very much attention to what I'm doing and be okay. But you'll see, like, the enemy patterns are getting a little bit more complex. There's some new kinds of enemies showing up, and oh hey, look, Miraglio. I'll Miraglio. Give me that. Metaglio, sorry. Amataglio.
Okay.
Oh, chest. I love a chest.
I know.
Calm down. So yeah, that's what it looks like when you get an item out of a box because of the thing I said earlier. So we continue to level things up. You'll notice in the top left, when I hit a level, here I'll slow down. I'll stop clicking on things so fast. Let me get enough gems to level up again. Ooh, here's some gems. You can see the levels that all of my gear has, all of my stat changes from the various items, but also all of the meta progression stuff and whatever. Even more movement. Are there cool items around? Hey, there's a glove of some kind. I don't know what that does. Let's go get it. This fucking guy, this basically like living cape, is gonna chase me around because I stole his cursed sword handle.
Okay, that makes
But
sense.
eventually we're going to kill him, and when he dies, he's going to leave an egg behind. And when we touch the egg, it will permanently upgrade one of this character's stats. And I mean permanently. Like every time I play the character from then on, they have those extra stat points.
Huh.
So you like super level your characters over time. All my shit is really overpowered. I have played a few hours of this video game is what I'm trying to express. The metal claw is a weapon. I was not fully expecting that. I had a weapon slot open because I was trying to get one particular other thing, and it didn't happen, and it's fine. We're going to live with it. We're going to live with the fact that that's the case. Very dramatic. I just got another level of claw.
Yay!
Yay, we're doing it. What else is going on around here? Oh, there's a magnet. You gotta touch the magnet. So
Why do you have to touch the magnet?
that picks up all of the gems that I haven't been bothering to pick up, the ones that are scattered all over the fucking level.
Okay.
That's helpful because I am very bad at picking up my gems. Yo, check out the winged. This is a Contra enemy, probably. It looks like a Contra enemy. To be clear, I do actually have to care about some of these guys. Like, I can't let Cape Man touch me. He will kill me very fast.
So I have to
egg.
ask.
Minus 0.005 cooldown forever.
How much of this are you parsing while you're playing it?
Oh, look at this. Sometimes you open a chest and it's more than one.
Wow.
Yeah. Fully headbanging the entire time the song is playing. So I leveled up one of my things. Once you get a weapon to maximum level, every time you pick up a chest after that, there's a chance, I think the clock has to be past a certain point too, there's a chance that the weapon will evolve into a cooler weapon, provided you also have the appropriate secondary item. So level 8 cross plus clover means magic flying sword.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And look at it fly around like a crazy lightsaber.
Okay.
Here's another cape man. I must be close to another. I'm close to another thing. Ah, yes, the ring. Love a gold ring.
How much of this are you parsing?
There are enemies, and I am housing them. That's what I'm parsing. Right now, I'm winning by a lot. Mask of the Red Death, 1 billion. Stupid Contra dog enemies, 0.
See, I can.
You will notice at this point I am intentionally just picking up items that increase the toughness and frequency of the enemies because I want more experience. This is the heart of... This is the essence of gameplay here. This is...
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I have trouble noticing when a thought appears in Disco Elysium. So
yes, I've noticed that.
Oh.
I've started making a warning noise. I hope that that's helpful to you.
Yeah, it is. It is. I don't want to miss it. You know, and I react kind of slowly. It's like this, I could last 2 seconds maybe.
Well, but like this is the key, right? This is the thing. You don't have to parse it. And in fact, at some point it's not even really meaningful or possible. It's like, what advantage would it give me to be able to tell what's happening? Egg.
Well, but I would have, like my eyes would unfocus. I wouldn't be able to keep track of where my character was.
Yeah, man, that's fine. Look away. Go do something else. Get a slice of pizza. I might get up and grab some pizza. Like, this is the thing about Vampire Survivors. And it's the thing that to some extent, like, the genre is built around, right? This is the power fantasy of becoming just insanely, brutally, unfairly powerful. and then it's like it gets boring pretty quickly is the thing. Like, I'm bored already. But you just, like, you do a run here and there, and then you come back later, and it's like, I'm not as powerful anymore because I started with a different thing, and I have a different goal in mind this time. And I think, like, part of what makes this work for me, and part of the reason that the other ones that are more mechanics focused, Cape Man touched me for a second. Part of the reason that the other ones don't work for me so much is because of the like what it means to be doing a run. Why am I here? We showed up to this level to break Bill Reiser out of that coffin. And we did it. Mission accomplished. And none of the other ones have a thing to do that's that fun for me. I don't enjoy, like, I love to see a number go up in a video game, but not as much as I love to wield a wall of rotating Bibles to break Bill Reiser out of a coffin at the end of Neo Galaga.
So you reminded me of another game that's not really, I don't think is necessarily in conversation with the games we talked about today, or at least not in the same kind of conversation with them. But there is a game that's kind of like a Contra Metal Sluggy kind of game. But it's a more modern game, and like there are characters that are basically very close analogs to existing characters in video games and action. Do you know the game I'm talking about? You unlock a lot of them.
You are talking about Broforce, I think.
Oh, that's probably it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? So how do you unlock things in Broforce? Do you remember?
You rescue them. I've upgraded my Bible into the Unholy Vespers, the Vespers Satanis, because that's what it is to upgrade a Bible. And you'll notice that now the Bible has been replaced by this never-ending circle. I don't know if it was clear to you before, but the Bible thing was like starting and stopping.
Yeah.
The Unholy Vespers are without end. There is never a gap in this. It's commentary, Amabel. You love commentary.
Okay. Yeah.
You love mechanical systems-based commentary, and that's what's happening right now.
Actually, that did remind me of another question that actually relates to roguelite meta progression. So in this case, you had to do a specific thing to get Bill right.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, that seems to be pretty common that you do a run, and by doing the run, you accomplish things within the run to unlock things. But you also sometimes just have things that get unlocked, like just by having done a run. Have you ever come across a roguelike game where in order for the meta progression to really mean anything, you have to be like going after particular goals, right?
Sort of. I think that like part of what Vampire Survivors proves, and part of what the point it's making is that the answer to that question is not really becoming the bullet hell is its own reward in some ways. It's not a reward that's like lasting for someone like me necessarily. This is not enough for me. I need the other thing too. And this is a game that like I will not play Vampire Survivors for like hours at a time. I'll do a little bit and then I'll be like, yeah, all right, and then I have to walk away and I have to find something more compelling to do for a bit. But then eventually I will have the feeling. Eventually I will be like, hey, I want some homing mist, obviously. We're going to need some of that in my life. And Vampire Survivors is the place where I go to get homing mist. Could I play Contra? I guess, so, Grandma. But this is what the cool kids are doing.
Okay.
You can tell because it has the Among Us characters in it.
What's Among Us?
Nope. Don't have time. Don't have time.
We do have time, however.
Our plan was to sort of like screw around with this for 2-ish hours And we have done that and then some.
Well,
And I would say it's been a rousing success. First of all, nothing blew up the entire time we were streaming. We managed to keep all of the objects intact. My computer is still functioning. Your computer is still functioning. Great
More or less.
news for future streams.
yeah. There is a comment that I want to, before we, if we're signing off, I want to say.
I'm not trying to rush us off. Like I'm having an all right time.
All right.
I'm cool. I'm cool to hang out. I'll tell you what. There's something else that I want to do.
Something else that you want to do, or something else you like as part of the stream, or after the stream?
No. Like yeah.
Okay.
I think we all get the idea here, and I
Yeah.
did unlock Bill Reiser, so I'm just gonna quit. Hooray!
So
New
we
achievement:
have
defeat a total of that many bats. I sure did do it. Find 33 rosaries. I guess so. 5 golden fingers. Probably did that. Welcome to Hyperspace 54. Here's Bill.
So the comment I have to share is Robin Bennett says it's time for Amabel to remind SB that we love this content, and she's absolutely killing it with the stream.
That's very sweet. Thank you very much. So yeah, they added 12 characters. It's Brad Fang.
Who's Brad Fang?
Brad Fang is one of the characters from the best Contra game, Hardcore.
I've only played one Contra game.
Okay.
It was called Contra.
Yeah. You're gonna have to take my word for it. But for real, that is an extremely sweet thing to say. Thank you very much. It may have come across a little bit that I need reinforcement to live. And I am perhaps a little embarrassed by that, but also it is true. It is actually a real thing. I am small and fragile, and I need kind words and pizza to survive. So this is how we're gonna end the stream here. This is the last thing. This is the last thing we'll play. Not because it's relevant to what we're doing today, but just because I want to play it. And I think it's really rad, and I think more people should be aware of it. I put it on the channel every so often. And this is one of the times that I'm doing that.
Okay.
Let me get it fed into the mix here.
Uh-huh.
And turn that down maybe just a tiny bit. And here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, let me actually crossfade that over onto the active stream as well. Yay! What colors am I using right now? Okay, that's fine. We're just gonna play a little bit of this. There are a lot of cool sound packs for this game. We're gonna play this one, made by the inimitable Josie Breckner, a true heroine. This game is called Mixolumia. It's a puzzle game. It's one of them Tetrises, basically. More or less, it's a Tetris. But the particular mechanic here is if you put 3 or more of a symbol together in a line, like this, that'll pop it. If you form a square of a symbol, that will also cause them to pop and disappear. And the soundtrack is almost entirely procedurally generated by your actions, which is why you pick a sound pack at the beginning.
Okay. Yeah, this is really chill. It reminds me of... I used to play a lot of... Luminous?
Yes, absolutely. Luminous is a great point of comparison. This is definitely like inspired by that sort of like subgenre of puzzle game. I could never remember the dude's name, and I do feel bad about that. The Luminous guy. Part of my brain keeps wanting to say Miyazaki, and that's not correct.
No, that's a different guy.
It's actually several different guys. There are a couple of really famous Miyazakis. Nomura? Tetsuya Nomura? Is that right?
Hmm.
Well, somebody in chat will know, probably.
Okay. Nomura is Kingdom Hearts' apparent.
Oh, okay, that's not him. That's a different dude.
What's Kingdom Hearts?
You're so lucky. I can't do that to you. No, that's mean. I don't want to be like a jerk about the Kingdom. Listen, the Kingdom Hearts people get enough shit from me. They don't need. They get enough shit without me helping. Kingdom Hearts is a series of games that was made by Squaresoft in cooperation with Disney, with the core premise of what if Final Fantasy, but at the same time, Disney. So it is a game where you can have, Cloud, Strife, and also Donald Duck in your party at the same time, and you fight Jack Skellington or whatever. That's not true. Jack Skellington's a protagonist character. He would be a party member, but you know what I mean.
Okay.
You'll fight Maleficent. How about that?
Is Donald Duck good in those games?
Yeah, Donald Duck is like he's the wizard of the party.
Huh.
They have cast Donald as a wizard and Goofy as sort of like a knight protector kind of character.
It feels like Mickey would be a better wizard.
Oh, no. You don't get to play as Mickey Mouse. Come on now.
Okay. Whereas Donald feels like... Because, the thing is, if you look at Donald as a character in the Carl Barks comics...
of course, as I always do.
They're so good. He's a scrapper. He's the muscle. He's kind of the courageous hero guy.
Yeah, I think that fits way better with his temperament and everything. But you have to remember that guy is the protagonist character in Squaresoft games, and they made up there's an original character for that.
How dumb is his haircut?
OC Do Not Steal. It's actually incredible because he has Final Fantasy hair, but he also has Disney shoes.
Oh, okay.
So he looks fucking wild. I don't want to set any harm upon the poor Kingdom Hearts fans in chat. But I also don't want to talk about Kingdom Hearts anymore, if that's all right.
Okay, that's fine. So someone is telling me to be serious, and I don't know what they mean by that.
No, this is real. To be clear, this is not a bit. She's not doing a joke right now. She is legitimately. She's like a time traveler. It's crazy. Part of the reason that we get to have all these fun what is a roguelike conversations is because it is like she has come here from the 1700s. And I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Yeah, no, I know. I have there's things I know a lot about.
Yeah.
They're usually older things.
Yep.
And there's a lot of ways I've just been kind of oblivious to popular culture.
Oh, that's bad.
I still remember the time when I asked you who Dr. You were.
Boy, you are. Hold on. Can you give me that again?
The time when I asked you who Dr. Dre was.
Yes.
And you weren't. No, I was serious.
Well, I was just flabbergasted because one of the core commandments is to not forget about Dre. It is unwise, we are told, to forget about Dre.
Is that a lyric from a song?
Yes, I am making reference to a song. You said it to me, and I was just like, "Wow, what a bunch of gibberish." Further reference to the song.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, this is just there's no particular compelling cause behind the Mixolumia that is appearing right now. It's just this game chills me the fuck out, and I love it very much, and I'm just exposing it so that people can see it and also love it. That is such a huge driver of what I do on the channel. Is I just want to show people things that they can love.
Oh, I agree absolutely. I mean, that's I'm gonna be really sincere. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
But
We kind of broke the seal on that already.
that's kind of who you are as a person.
Oh.
That's something that you're really good at, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. You know, you have friends who have said similar things, that your ability to introduce people to things and show them how to love. Because I have seen films, you've shown me films, and the way you talk about them helps me appreciate them so much more. We talk about games, helps appreciate them so much more. You know, you point me towards the things that you love about them, and you teach me how to love them. That's... Yeah, you're great. You're great. End of story.
Oh, that's very sweet.
This is the you put me on a stream. I'm you know, so this is the danger. I'm gonna make dumb jokes. I'm going to lose focus a lot.
You are the only reason there's been anything resembling focus at any point during this stream. So I think I'm about to lose, and it's really sad because we just got to the threshold where the music gets really good.
Well, could you try not losing?
Yeah, okay. Here we go. I'm gonna try that. That's a really interesting strat, and I've never done it before. So let's see. No, like hold on. We are gonna play. I am gonna play again, but I want to show like, if you're not wild about the colors, like this is the basic color palette of the game. It launches with some ridiculous number of colors, and then they're very easy to make. So they're very easy to pass around. There's a ton of them in on itch.io. People release color set packs and music packs and stuff.
Oh, neat. Oh, neat. I like those.
Which one?
The trans ones.
Oh, okay.
Very basic, you know.
Yeah, I believe the creator is non-binary.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. This is my color palette. Obviously, these are my colors. But yeah, the game usually looks like this. This is the sort of default. And, you know, it works without colors because the four pieces have different symbols on them. I don't know. Is anything jumping out at you here?
Oh, for me personally?
Yeah. What do you want to? Some of them seem a little rough.
Yeah. Party with Rats. I mean.
Party with Rats. All right.
That's the name. Is Party. Come on.
Yeah.
How can we not?
I think my current high score was set with Party with Rats. Let's do. Yeah, let's do a different sound pack. We'll play at least one more here.
You need to show me a bunch of games where have a rat friend or be a rat.
Create a collection of all of my games where it is possible to party with rats.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting idea.
Because one thing that I don't think happens enough on your channel, it happened a little bit in. I saw your first Hades 2 video where you met the frog.
Yeah.
But I don't think people really get a sense of how you react to the presence of basically any animal, and it's quite adorable, and I would love for everyone to see that.
But I have,
especially a rat, because I know you love rats.
I do. I love them very much. What about my reputation? The streets are never going to believe that I'm hard ever again. There's videos. I mean,
trans girls have problems with that sometimes.
There's video on the internet of me seeing like a meerkat that is so cute that I start weeping uncontrollably. I think that's going to change the way people look at me. Not that that's a real example.
Okay. Yeah. Andrew Dunn asks, do the Skaven count for partying with...
So that's a complicated... First of all, hey, Andra, what's up? Secondly, that's a complicated thing because, like, you know, the Skaven represent some pretty odious shit. You know, the Warhammer fantasy...
Oh, this is a Warhammer thing, okay.
Yes, this is a Warhammer thing. The Warhammer fantasy races have some, you know, they have some pretty, like, obvious real world analogs, like the orcs are sort of like designed after soccer hooligans and stuff. And it's tough to be like fully Skaven, because Skaven are obviously like some pretty grim fascist, like in terms of the, you know, what their society is like and everything. But still kind of yes. And then my answer is going to be kind of yes, but please don't draw any real life conclusions from it.
Someone in the chat describes Skaven as an entire species of Starscream.
Yes, that's a really good way to put that. In a very that's we're going to call that a very Amabel safe reference.
Yeah, no, I know Transformers.
I like the indignance there. Well, come on, I know Transformers. Obviously.
I mean, I can't tell the story on your stream. Never mind. What is your favorite depiction of science fiction / fantasy rats or rat folk?
Oh, that's interesting. It's tough because especially in the fantasy space, you don't get a lot of positive rat folk, and all of the qualities that rat folk should have fall through to mice instead for some reason. Despite the fact that if you have ever been around, if you ever had to like interact with these creatures in any way, anyone who has any experience of them will tell you a mouse is just a dumber, meaner rat. They're smaller and they're less capable of empathy. I'm trying to think, like, what's a really good...
Well, there's the Pathfinder rats.
There's the Isoki in Pathfinder, or the rat folk. I think Isoki is really more of a name. Well, you know, I think it's still used as the name of the language. The deal with the rats in Pathfinder, and in fact with several of the races in Pathfinder, is that they are actually from another planet. And the Isoki is the proper, the sort of like their proper name in their culture, but I think that's sort of like a lost thing. I don't think that's widely known by people actually on Golarion.
So something that people might not... I don't think this comes up on your channel much. You are a giant Pathfinder nerd. I say this with love.
Pathfinder 2 is, yeah, I'm a huge Pathfinder 2 supporter. So fan of thing. What's the word you use when you want to be a fan of a thing but you are not a stan? What if you're just like a fan of a thing in a normal way?
I don't.
Do we still do that on the internet? I think we might not do that anymore.
No, because everything's exaggerated on the internet.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, so everything has to be the thing they can and make jokes about being creepy.
I get the instinct. I like to take it to 11 my own self.
Yeah, but like you would never call yourself a stan.
No.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, because I actually listen to hip hop and I'm familiar with the reference.
Oh, is that from a hip hop song?
Yeah, it's the term originates in an Eminem song.
Oh, that's the song where he uses the...
Yep. Yeah.
I know the lady song, so you know yeah, no, you I wish there was like a Pathfinder video game, because
there are a bunch of Pathfinder video games.
What?
True story.
Have you played them?
No.
They should give you a key.
So here's the thing. It's a couple of things. First of all, there are no officially licensed CRPGs that use the second edition rule set. There are actually Pathfinder CRPGs, but they are first edition, which is say they
3.5.
Yeah, they are D&D 3.5 games, which is not, it's, you know, it's fine, but it's not. A lot of what I really like about modern Pathfinder is the rule set. And if there was a game, if there was a CRPG where I could play the proper Pathfinder rule set, I would be on that for sure. But actually there is. Here's the other thing. I'm going to give this a shout out now and understand that I have plans to get to it on the channel. There is a small indie project called Dawnsbury Days. It's DAWNSBURY. And it is like a one-person project. But he did it. He built the Pathfinder 2 rule set, this person. It's quite cheap, and because he, like, obviously, like, the person knows it is a very, like, it looks like a game one person made.
Yeah.
But it's very open, it's very moddable. People have already, you know, he built sort of like a bare bones implementation of the rule set and put like a couple of the classes into working order, and other people have already modded in several of the other classes. And it is a thing we will be checking out at some point, but like a lot of shit came out all at once. There's a little bit of a glut of content for the channel right now, and that is not helped by Hades 2 stealth launching and just completely taking over my life. I have so many episodes of Hades 2 recorded already.
Yeah, it's. I was looking the other day and wow, you have some done. And you're like, none of them are up.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it in pace with everything. I don't want to blow everything else out, but I am considering just doing like, hey, I'm gonna drop a day's worth of Hades 2s. I don't know what the right thing to do is with that. I don't want to, like, you know, make all the other series disappear from the channel.
Yeah, because I think, you know, one thing that one thing I admire about you and your channel is that, first of all, you will almost always completion. There has to be like a compelling reason not to. And secondly, like, you keep like 4 or 5 series running weekly, and like that's neat. I like that about your channel, because there's a lot of variety of stuff for everybody, including for me, because I watch or listen to a lot of stuff when I am missing you.
Aww.
So I have your voice in my ear.
That's very sweet. Yeah, that's very much a sort of like, if you're gonna steal strategy, steal from the best kind of thing. That's how the YouTube people that I liked were doing it at the time when I started this gig. It is not as much the way they do it now, but, you know, like, shout out to like NLSS period Northern Lion, and like, not that I'm trying to talk shit about modern Northern Lion. I still watch a lot of Northern Lion, but, you know, the format's definitely different these days. He is a kid, you know.
Yeah. Someone says that Hades surplus means talking shit in the comments won't do anything. It won't do anything anyway. She does not read the.
I never read my comments, and that's that goes back to that extreme social anxiety thing. I used to. There was a time when I read every single comment, and it became such a stressor. Even though almost all of the comments were like very, very positive, sitting down to read what a bunch of strangers were saying about me became such a stressor that it was like ruining my day and giving me an ulcer. I had to stop, and I am much happier for having stopped. I do feel bad, because I feel like if you have a commented space on the internet, like, probably you do have some moral responsibility to moderate that space, and I am not doing that right now. But
Yeah.
I can't handle it. It's another way in which I am just too fucking soft for the world.
I try to do that on the videos I'm on with you. Read the comments, and I'll be on the lookout for, make sure people are being decent.
Yeah.
I have not been doing that on Disco Elysium because you told me not to.
Yes.
I read like one comment, and she's like, "No, I told you not to read that." She just want me getting spoiled on it, and I get that.
To be clear, that one is entirely about spoilers, and it's not like I don't think people are going to be malicious or anything. Oh, I fucked that up. I don't think people are going to be malicious or anything, but I also don't think people. A thing I have learned from typing and saying out loud, please don't tell me stuff, no matter what good reason you have, etc. Is that there's literally nothing you can say that will get people to not spoil stuff, and many of them will not think they are doing it, or they just, I don't know, but it's.
There's someone who says,
to be clear, we're gonna do one more, and then we should probably bounce. I'm hungry for one thing.
Yeah. Someone says they've endeavored to make all of their content helpful. Should they stop bothering to leave them? And I mean, I would say keep leaving them because I think that helps. I don't know how YouTube works, but I assume commenting does help.
So nobody really knows, right? We have a lot of like folk wisdom about the algorithm, but I don't think there's any actual knowledge. And the fact is, it's not an algorithm, right? It's a group of algorithms, and it's a group of genetic algorithms that are constantly advancing. They're changing, and nobody can understand the ways in which they are changing, because that's kind of the whole point, right? If you had to have human input, then they wouldn't be able to evolve quickly enough to be useful. So the fact is, there's probably nobody on Earth, including the people in the Google offices, who can really tell you what the algorithm is optimizing for at this moment. So comments might be good. They're a form of engagement. That's certainly like an easily trackable thing. But also, I will say this. I'm trying to get better about this stuff. I want to get back to a place where I can read comments a little bit more and stuff. This is something I've talked about on the subreddit a little bit. And so I might see them eventually.
Yeah. I mean, and generally,
I'm sorry. I don't want to be like, so please keep wasting your time. As
I don't think it's a waste of time. That's my 2 cents. And I think, one thing people should recognize is that you like to discover. I remember one time when you were playing Road Warden, and you were playing Road Warden, and you were wondering about whether some mechanic worked a certain way, and I had to look it up, and I started to tell you, and you're like, no, don't. I want to find out on my own, and it's not me and multiple people playing the game. It's me playing the game. And I think there's a purity to that experience that
I will say I try not to be like too precious about the thing I do. Like, it's only video games, but I like it, etc. But whatever like sort of unique flavor my product has, this is where it comes from, right? Is my sort of like my stuffy insistence on getting there my way, and like relying only on my own understanding and what the game is able to coach me into, and So I think it has value in a bunch of different ways, in addition to just being the way that I like to play.
Yeah. And the way you like to experience art generally, I think.
Yeah, which again, not to be like too precious about it, but like that should be good enough, I think.
Yeah.
If someone tells you that's the way they want it, that should be you should be like, okay then.
Yeah.
There are some people who really are not like okay then, and it baffles me. And again, I'm thinking of that one guy, the Rain World guy, who has evaded a ban. He was made like 3 different accounts to be able to harass me on the subreddit about not looking shit up on the wiki because I'm so stupid for not looking everything up. And like, what would compel you? Why would how is this worth your time?
And like, I engage with art very differently. Like, I often read plot synopsis before I watch a movie.
Yeah.
I often engage with spoilers, and that's how like, I don't have a problem with that, and that's how I am able to pay attention to things I want to pay attention to. Our brains just very different ways, but I still respect, the way you engage with it, and I try to respect the process and not not spoil things for you. And I also try, when we're playing these games together, I want to respect the format, as it were.
I really appreciate that.
So I try my best.
Can I tell you?
Someone
oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. Give me the question. The thing I'm gonna do is kind of a long story.
Well, the question is, do you have any ideas for the channel for people to learn more about your TTRPG opinions and adventures? This person always appreciates the glimpses into her tabletop life and opinions.
Yeah, I have tried. I've spent a lot of time thinking about that, actually, ways to get tabletop stuff onto the channel. Definitely, like, before I was even into Pathfinder 2, because tabletop games are kind of a big part of my love of games, actually, and I don't think that you would know that from watching the channel now, and that actually, like, really, that does not sit well with me. I want more of that kind of stuff surfaced. Mm-hmm. But it's tricky to do without doing something that's like an actual play, a podcast or something like that. I think that, well, first of all, you're talking about a significant expenditure of time if we're talking about like something more scripted, like reviews, mm-hmm. or like rules lawyer type videos. And for those who are not familiar, rules lawyer, I don't mean like rules lawyering. I mean like there's a particular Pathfinder content creator who goes by Rules Lawyer because he's a lawyer in real life, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And he makes like the sort of scripted content. The moment I start talking seriously, all of a sudden I'm horrible at this game. Yeah, we're just talking about time, and like it's been really rough, especially lately. It's been okay for the last couple of weeks, but I've actually felt really bad about the rate that like the normal channel content is coming out, because I have been stricken with some illnesses. I've had some new my body is falling apart because I'm fucking closing on 40 is what's happening. And we've been going to the doctor a lot and x-rays, and yeah, I have not been in a place to be able to record as much as I would like. So I get feeling like that, and the just like get back to normal kind of takes precedent, right? Takes precedence.
Yeah.
I do feel like that's cleaning up some. I'm getting back to sort of a normal rate of output, which I feel more comfortable about. But yeah, just like I don't know where I would find the time to do a thing, and I don't know what I would do if I had the time. If people have suggestions for kinds of content they would particularly like to see related to this, the subreddit is a great place to drop that stuff, with the understanding that I can't always it's been a little while since I've looked at the subreddit because I'm having a bout of stuff lately. But I will, I do post on the subreddit. It's just sometimes it's going to be a minute between those things occurring because of my horrible anxiety problems, because of my terrible, terrible medical grade anxiety. For which I should probably be on some kind of drugs, but also I'm scared of psychoactive medication. So that's another thing we're working through in therapy. What fun.
So I wanna say, first of all, I think I would personally love to see you, 'cause when you create a Pathfinder character, which, to be clear, you do, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a week. Is that about right?
No, I just listen, when I have I have created a lot of Pathfinder characters for the purpose of creating Pathfinder characters, not necessarily for any particular game, is the thing that she's making reference to.
And that could be fun to watch.
Yeah, I thought about...
have you talk through.
I thought about something like that, like how to build a character in a way where it's like the mechanics and the theme are really dovetailing, and like how to make sure that those things are building off of each other and not just either sort of not being referenced at all, or worse, working at cross purposes. Because I do feel like the Pathfinder 2 character rules are very good at letting you build something that is mechanically expressive.
Yeah.
Ugh, I am terrible at this game.
Let's do some rapid fire comments here. WoW and SB stream didn't think I'd live to see.
Me neither.
Someone marvels because the rate of content creation makes them dizzy just thinking about it.
Yeah, so let me poke in on that one a little bit. I do recognize that, like, when I say
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I've always found the upload rate frighteningly rapid.
I do recognize that I put out a lot relative to a lot of Let's Players. And that's intentional. And when I talk about feeling bad because I'm not getting there on the content production rate, I know that it can come across as kind of silly when I'm putting out what seems like a lot. But for me, the level of comfort, I'm just going to start this Kevin McLeod track again here. For me, the level of comfort is like 20 videos a week, like four series, 5 videos in each of them. That's where I want to be. And to a certain extent, again, not to bring up the money stuff, but like to a certain extent, that's where I need to be for the ad money to be significant with my viewership numbers.
Yeah.
And obviously that's a thing that bounces all over the place too. That's all in a black box, whatever. But yeah, that's what I mean when I say normal is like 20 videos a week, or roughly 20 hours a week. And if I'm doing this as a full-time job, I don't think that that's really that unreasonable to expect from myself. I can't do a 9 to 5. I probably can't work a real job 40 hours a week because my body and my brain will not do that. But I think it's reasonable to expect me to put out 20, I think that's a reasonable level of effort to insist that I can hold down, and to not beat myself up about it when I can't, when I have things where like my sleep gets really wrecked and I can't focus for 2 or 3 days or whatever, where I literally can't sit up for an hour without falling asleep, that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
But it's a good threshold to try to keep to, I think.
Yeah.
So sorry, were there more?
Well, so I have a couple people who are Pathfinder characters would be like. Someone's just a sneaky rat person with +5 charisma.
Can I tell you the very first Pathfinder character I made was Ratfolk Columbo, actually.
That's amazing.
I love
that so much.
There is an investigator class in Pathfinder 2. That was the thing. Learning about the investigator class was the thing that tipped me over to reading the system, because it's a class that is almost entirely not combat focused. And in fact, the investigator that I played in the game that we were in together for a while, had using the old character rules for optional flaws, I had -1 strength and dexterity modifiers. I was just like
Okay.
really, really, really not set up for conflict, for physical conflict, but I had a lot else going on with the character and all the investigator archetyped into inventor, and just like so much like interesting utility. And I think this system is really brilliant for the ways that it can be stretched like that. Pathfinder is so fucking rad, and it's not the only one. If I may say a thing that I am always a little afraid to say,
Yeah.
I think that D&D right now is in. I mean this. I think that D&D right now is kind of in the worst place it's ever been, and it's a real shame that the explosion of actual play, and particularly the explosion of very high quality actual play, where I'm talking about like very obviously Dimension 20 and Critical Role, particularly Critical Role, right, where these people who are cool and fun to watch and very, very skilled are putting out this product that is at an incredible level of polish and watchability. I think, the moment of that happening would have been the biggest edition of D&D, no matter when it was, right? Critical Role is why 5th edition is popular, not 5th edition.
Yeah.
And I think it's just really a shame that it happened during 5th edition, when I think the game's rules are in, and I want to I'm not trying to slam my credentials on the table here or anything, but I have DM'd literally every edition of D&D, and I have played most of them. The only one I haven't actually been a player in was Second Ed AD&D. So I have a lot of familiarity with D&D and the rules and the ways that it has been played and the places it has been in, I think far more than most people. And I really think 5th edition is the worst the rules have ever been. And I think that 5th edition is in a lot of ways the worst the management has ever been. And I don't want to put a lot of that on Wizards, because I think that it's just like Hasbro getting a hold of Wizards. It's just it's very unfortunate. And it's done a lot of very unfortunate things to both D&D and to Magic.
Yeah.
And the people who have been playing Magic for 20 years in the chat know exactly what I'm talking about. There are so many really, really, really rad games out there, and I just want people, if you are playing tabletop games and you like D&D and you're like, hey, why is she ragging on my favorite game? I apologize. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but try some other stuff. There is, I think the problem D&D 5 has is that it has all of the downsides of being a really complicated game with none of the upsides. It has, all of these core rule books for a game that just doesn't offer that much mechanical breadth or depth. And there are games, if you want the kind of ultimately D&D, what D&D is right now boils down to a pretty simple systemic experience. If you like that level of complexity, there are so many games out there that don't have all the cruft. And if you want something that has a nice, a nice heavy thump and crunch to it, but that gets a lot more out of all of those rules, there is stuff like Pathfinder and Lancer. And if you want the other thing, you could be playing, I don't know, a Heart or there's so many good rules light RPGs that can fill that space. I think they're talking about printing a new version of 13th Age, a new edition of 13th Age. That would be rad. 13th Age is fucking fantastic.
Is that the one that's kind of... I hate to just use a D&D analogy. Is that the one kind of 4E-ish?
Not really.
Okay.
It's kind of, sort of, but not really. But not really, because it's a lot rules lighter than 4E. Okay. I don't think it doesn't demand a battle map or anything. It reports stuff in feet, not squares.
Gotcha.
But it is the core design is from Jonathan Tweet and Rob Heinzu. Jonathan Tweet, who worked on D&D 3rd Ed, and Rob Heinzu, who was the lead designer on 4th Ed. So it's
Okay.
it's old D&D minds taking stuff in a very different direction. And I think you'll find that in a lot of the spaces in the hobby, you know, obviously like what's his name? Monty Cook and his company, they're developing some really fascinating stuff. Invisible Sun is fucking cool. Numenera is really cool. Yeah, I should do some tabletop RPG content.
You should. You should. Yeah.
I
Someone
don't know how to approach it, but I do want to. I do really want to.
someone asks. Someone says, "This is again talking about what kind of character create.
Mhm.
How can I maximize the theme of skeletons for this character? Have you ever played a skeleton?
I have not. Well, so a huge part of that is just that
Okay.
I don't get to play games very often.
Uh-huh.
I am the GM. And
I want to be clear about it.
I have in that capacity played an awful lot of skeletons over the years.
I want to be clear about something.
Yeah,
I did play a skeleton
in my game,
in your Pathfinder game.
Because Pathfinder 2 does have a skeleton ancestry. You can just be a skeleton out of the box. It's right there. It's available.
And
obviously it comes with a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
But you can, just core rules, just you can just be a skeleton. I shouldn't say core rules. It's not in the core rule book, but it is in the rules. It's in the Book of the Dead, obviously.
Some people are. Someone said something about a Professor Layton. What's a Professor?
Professor Layton is a series of puzzle games that I don't know very much about. They're handheld games, right? They're like DS games, the Nintendo DS.
Maybe.
I used to have a friend who was very into a Professor Layton game, and that's really all I know about them is that he was playing it on his DS. I see Tyrio in chat saying, having grown up playing World of Darkness, I am used to folks ragging on the games I like. I hear that. I love VTM. I love Mage. I never played Werewolf, but I did play the Werewolf card game that existed for a couple of years. Rage the Apocalypse, I think was the name of the card game. That game had some really sick art. I don't remember any of the mechanics, but I remember the art. So I don't know if I have a good way. So I have not played any of the Layton games. I don't know what the context was. I don't know if I have a good way of. I mean, there's probably emulators, right? By which I mean, obviously, extremely legal devices.
Yeah.
Purchased firsthand, on which one could play DS. I have a big hole in my sort of handheld knowledge because we had a toaster Game Boy, and then I never had another handheld console after that. I got into before the next like big wave of handhelds happened.
Mm-hmm.
I got a laptop and got into PC gaming, and so
and I didn't really get into PC gaming until basically until you and I got together.
Yeah, so
my handheld.
I have not played any DS games.
Yeah, my handheld experience is the old Game Boy, and then the Virtual Boy. Is that handheld?
No, I feel like the Virtual Boy. I feel like you got to put that on a table, right? Or you could have somebody hold it. You could have somebody else hold the thing. Is that still handheld?
Maybe. The Virtual Boy is the only console I still own.
You still have your Virtual Boy?
Yes.
That's rad. I'm one of the few. I'm one of the what seems like the few people who don't get a headache. Like I love the Virtual Boy. I had a great time with that.
Yeah, I have like 3 games for it only. Which one of which is the Wario one, which is good.
Oh,
Amabel, do you have a Laserdisc player? I do not have a Laserdisc player. The school I went to had one.
Can I tell you, I'm a little surprised by that.
Well, no, because sweetheart, I'm not that much older than you.
Yeah, I know,
right?
But I don't think it's an age thing. I just think it's like the kind of thing that you would be interested in as a format, preservation wise, and stuff. Like I don't know.
I mean, I would if I wasn't poor. You know, like the reason why I'm into vinyl, the reason why I'm into collecting vinyl is not because I'm a hipster, but because they're like a quarter.
Yep.
So I could pick up a record for a quarter. That's cheap, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Part of what got me into punk music in like middle school was that a NoFX album was reliably like 30 to 40% of the price of a new CD from a different band. And that's why I know all the words to Au Champs-Élysées. Speaking of, so I see people talking about modern TTRPGs and stuff. If you are interested in this kind of stuff and you're not already checking it out, I would super recommend the Quinn's Quest YouTube channel. It is Quinn's from Sit Up and Shut Down, doing reviews of RPGs with the Quinn's Quest guarantee that he's actually played the games before talking about them, which is a thing that a surprising number of these channels. Well, I guess I was going to say a surprising number of these channels don't do. It's not that surprising. It's extremely time consuming. And he's getting away with it by, you know, having a dedicated RPG group and only reviewing one thing a month. And I assume drawing on a considerable backlog. But yeah, he's putting out like just absolutely the best shit in the space, in my opinion, at the moment. And his taste is, I'm going to say very good because it's similar to mine. All right. I think that if we don't have... No, I see that, Stephanie. Dedicated RPG group is... But I've had so many of them fall apart. Like, I think just last night even. Like, it is impossible. This is a thing where I think the actual play podcasting community really has figured something out. The only way to get people to commit and hang on to a tabletop RPG is to make it the thing that pays their bills.
Yeah.
That's a grim reality of capitalism. So anyway, do we have any other stuff that you wanted to bring up, Amabel? Any other questions or comments that should be responded to that I have not?
I haven't seen any that I've missed. If I missed some, I apologize. I'm new to this as well, you know.
Yeah.
And you, I am also getting hungry.
This was so much more traffic than I thought we were going to see because I do not have, you know, any kind of like history of streaming or anything. So thank you very, very, very much for everyone who was here at any point, anyone who commented or anything. Apologies if any comments or questions got lost in the wash. We're going to try to not make this such a rarity. I have some thoughts about things that we might do. But yeah, this is just sort of a live fire test. And it worked. Yeah. I don't know. In live fire testing, is that everyone's dead now. The bullets were effective. I don't know a lot about firearms. The point is, it worked. We're good. Thank you all so much for helping make this successful. I hope this is a fun time for people to hang out and watch. And yeah, we're gonna go eat cold pizza. Everybody have a good night. Y'all in Europe, have a good rest of your day. Y'all in America or wherever that's appropriate, have a good whatever time it is for you. And we'll see you later.
How's that pizza?